You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you triathlon studs and studettes. This is Coach Brett with another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon. On today's show, we have Tawnee Prazak doing the news with me all the way over here from Endurance Planet, man. She and I go through all the latest triathlon news. It is super cool. It's like 45 minutes of back and forth. It's really cool. And let's see, we have Kai's coaching for kids. My 9-year-old triathlete son gives us swim advice for open water swimming, which is really cool. He's trying to earn money to buy his first mountain bike, and it's turning out well. And then we have the training log. I take you with me on epic training week. Over Easter weekend, I logged 19 hours of training in 3 days, and parts of my bike are starting to explode off of it. I cracked my handlebars, the rear bottle cage holders flew off in the middle of a ride. I get into an overtraining kind of hole a little bit. I start swimming with paddles and an ankle band at the same time, and I tell you why I'm doing all this, the specific reasons, but in general, I'm doing it because Ironman Texas is coming up, and this is the last final build before, a full Ironman, a 140.6. So I've got just tons of nutrition tips and all kinds of good stuff like that in there. So let's go ahead and get rolling with the show. First off, let's start with the news with Tawnee Prazak. Let's slide on over here to the news desk. Here we go.
Been all fucked up, so I was like, God, I hope that's not my fault.
My computer just bit it, totally. I thought maybe the battery wasn't charged.
Are you on a different computer?
No, I'm back on. It's a Mac too. I mean, these things never crash, so it was really scary.
Weird. Okay,
so we're back, and we're talking about podcasting problems.
Oh, the trials and tribulations of podcasting.
So I used to have a little MP3 recorder. And I would plug in a little lapel mic to it, and I would wear that lapel mic on me while I would go for a bike ride or for a run. So I had cables everywhere, and then to listen to it, I would wear headphones. So now I got headphones connected to the MP3 player going in, and then a wireless mic coming out, and I had this thing, and it didn't work half the time,
But you're only doing that on your easier sessions, right?
Used to, yeah.
I mean, you're pretty fast. I was obviously following you for the Galveston and everything. You can't be trading hardcore and trying to podcast at the same time.
No, but I don't know. I don't do the long casual bike rides. I don't have time for it anymore. Just to go, for a 5-hour ride for no reason or something.
I know, right?
Yeah, the earliest episodes, Kai was a little baby, so he wasn't doing much yet, so I could leave the house for a while, and have hey, the dog is your brother. Play with your brother. He's like, okay. Anyway, so but where were we?
Triathlon news.
Yeah, we lost a lot of time with that crash.
That's right. I have a client that I'm meeting in just about an hour right now, so I'm already in my next workout outfit for her, so we have an hour.
Okay, so let me dig up our shared document, but we can get started on it. Ironman 70.3 Lake Tahoe. That
was just announced today, right?
Yeah.
Monday, April 21st.
So I thought it was really interesting. I did some digging around.
Yeah.
And found out that Ironman Lake Tahoe hasn't even sold out yet.
Well, see, rumor on the street in my circle of people is that we're potentially expecting Ironman Tahoe to be the next St. George situation. And this would be a convenient progression by already implementing the 70.3 without making it look like the Ironman failed. which I think sucks.
Yeah.
I think Ironman's a great event.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then because it's too hard for a lot of people, and that's why people haven't signed up for it again, right? And it's a mix of too hard and the weather's too variable. So it could be really, really cold like it was last year.
It's tough that time of year. When I was there last year, we talked to some locals about it, and they did say that last year was kind of an anomaly, the fact that it snowed when it did, but at the same time, they say it's the transition point in the year. You got to expect anything at that point. Yeah. So, even look at the grand scheme. Like, it wasn't even that harsh of a winter by any means whatsoever in California. In fact, we're kind of screwed. Even some of my athletes are saying the Russian River up at Vineman right now is extremely low. And that's a low, like, very shallow swim to begin with.
Yeah.
But anyways, with Tahoe and the weather and everything, it's just, to me, like, that's part of the allure of an Ironman event, is taking the risk of never knowing what it could be on race day in terms of weather and conditions. Isn't that kind of what we have to expect when we do an outdoor sport for that long of a duration?
Yeah. And there's two other things, too, that some people already feel slighted that they signed up for an Ironman and they wanted the full Ironman experience. And now there's a whole bunch of the way they're saying that, there's a bunch of half Ironman people there. Like, those are people are like less than or something. And I'm like, people that race half Ironmans are pretty badass, like, it's a half Ironman. It's hard.
They're all hard in their own right.
It's not a 5K. It's a freaking half Ironman, so I don't get that. I was reading that, but I noticed a lot of people were saying that, which I thought was interesting. And
here's what I'm wondering. Logistically, I know that the half is going to be one loop, but just being an Ironman, I'm sure there's going to be crossover. And from what I experienced in those changing tents, and everyone can vouch for this who did Ironman Tahoe last year, is that it was complete chaos. If it does happen to be cold again, the changing tents, you felt like a sardine. I'm not even exaggerating. It was bodies on bodies trying to take everything off.
Was it cold though, or was it warm?
You were kind of in shock at that point. As long as
it wasn't warm or cold. You blacked out. You don't even know.
I couldn't feel my hands and my feet, but I was able to at least take off all the wet stuff and put on kind of dry stuff, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So if they're having a half Ironman intermix within all of that, and it does happen to be crazy weather again, it just seems like it's going to be complete chaos in T1.
Now the other thing is, apparently they do this in Europe a lot, and Asia. They do the Ironman and the half Ironman together. So they know how to do it over there. And that's one of our other news stories about Spain, Barcelona. Right. We'll get there in a second. But and apparently it goes over okay over there. So,
but the weather's probably very different, right? For the most part, I'm sitting
in Barcelona, I bet. Yeah.
Races.
Yeah.
I don't think there's snow.
Yeah. So, but it's going to be really interesting. Cool.
I'm just going to, I'm most curious about what we're going to see in like 3 to 5 years with this whole race and situation in Tahoe. Cause I think they signed a decent contract. I don't know the logistics or the details of it, but I think they signed, more than just year at a time for the Ironman.
Yeah, I think they do
like 4 years,
a couple or several years.
Yeah,
or more. Yeah. It's not really in our news stories, but Ironman Texas got renewed, and they're moving the date like about a month earlier, which is really going to affect Galveston, because a lot of people use Galveston
as a training day,
and it's far enough apart. Some guy I remember him saying, "Well, I do Galveston, and then if they do the date, if they move them closer together, then it's just 3 weeks until Texas, and that's perfect." And I'm like, 3 weeks? That's a 2-week taper for an Ironman. That gives you 1 week to train. Well, you need a week to recover from Galveston, and then you got to taper for the Ironman. That's not enough time. 3 weeks.
People can do it. That's what I tried to do last year when I had already signed up for Tahoe, but I qualified for Vegas, and those were 2 weeks apart, and my body didn't like that very much. That was tough.
Maybe when they said the Tahoe thing, I hadn't really realized the European thing, and I remember my first reaction was, I kind of like this. Like, what if you could choose, like at the same race doing a full or a half? That's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm just saying, I was like, that's kind of cool. I could go do Tahoe and I could pick.
You mean like
half.
last minute? Did you change your mind?
No, I mean just when you're registering and because of the location, you're like, I want to go do a race at Lake Tahoe. Well, I don't have to do a full. I could do a half if I wanted to.
Totally, but the Barcelona one, you don't have the option because they're having it completely different times of year.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, the iron. I just read this before. I wanted to make sure I'm brushed up on all the details. The full is going to be October of this year, and the half is in May of next year. So they're kind of literally not even close whatsoever.
Oh, that doesn't really count, does it?
Yeah. So I mean, I know it syncs up with some of them, but some of them obviously not. And Cabo, they changed the date of the full Ironman. Mm-hmm. That's normally a March Ironman, and next year it's going to be an October Ironman.
Okay. That could be nice. Could still be really hot.
Yeah, definitely probably not wetsuit legal like it has been the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So
let's move on to only in Texas. Just south of Austin. I've actually run the Ragnar Relay along this highway. On 281, two guys in a pickup truck hit a cyclist.
This is terrible.
And then tried to hide the body. They tried to stow the body in the back of the pickup truck to go get rid of it later. And somebody saw it happen and reported the vehicle that was in the accident to the police. And then later, the police were alerted by somebody saying some guys were acting suspiciously on some country road somewhere. And the police caught them trying to throw the body into a canal. And then the guy that got hit and killed actually was there's even more to that story. He was a cycling advocate in Austin.
Oh, jeez.
And he used to weigh 300 pounds and completely turned his life around with cycling. And there's a whole bunch of bike lanes are credited to this guy. This guy was a big deal.
God.
Yeah.
So I watched that clip you sent me, and it made me want to throw up in my mouth. But besides that,
I'm sorry for saying
it's so terrible. I mean, this whole it kills me how many people are getting hit on their bikes. But now someone's taking it to a level of trying to dump the body. But okay, so it sounds like he was riding with someone else though.
Yeah,
and
for somebody
that
to see
other
it.
person called 911. My question is, where was that person who called 911 when these guys, because then they couldn't find the body right away, and then what happened in between the 911 call with that cyclist and the other guys taking the body and trying to dispose of it somewhere else?
I guess they grabbed him real quick and threw him in the back of the truck and then just took off. It's two guys, right? So they could easily lift up somebody and a bike and throw them in the truck and then just take off. And it's at night. It was 4:30 in the morning. So I want to say, your first reaction was, hey, don't bike at 4:30 in the morning. But we shouldn't have to say things like that. You should be able to bike anytime you want and not have people hit you. It's not, it's not advised, but it's also shouldn't be something you have to worry about, somebody trying to. And then, the other thing, Tawny, is how many times has this happened?
Yeah.
Where somebody's been hit and then they just pick them up and take them off somewhere, and then you would never know what happened to that person. They've just gone missing.
I can call me naive, but does that happen?
Today it happened and these guys just happened to get caught. It's got to happen several times a year.
The ones that the incidences that we have usually around where I live, it's mostly as far as I know, no one's ever tried to take the body and dispose of it. What we normally see is more of the hit and the run. So they hit the cyclist, and then they just speed off, being probably in that holy crap, what did I just do state of mind, and trying to get away scot-free.
Well, where you live, you probably have mountain lions just jumping off of the sides of the roads, taking cyclists down.
We have everything.
And pin them down, and then the tarantulas come out, right? And they come out on their hind legs like that, and then the tarantulas start cheering on the rattlesnakes.
And then the
mayhem.
sharks.
Everybody talks about Texas being crazy, but you guys, they take it to a whole nother level.
And the sharks, too. Don't forget about the sharks.
The snakes drag the bodies out to the sharks.
Where I went surfing yesterday is where they have sightings probably twice a month for great whites.
Ugh.
But they have sightings all the time, yet no one has ever had an actual incident. And until that day happens, I'm going to continue to surf there because it's my all-time favorite place to surf in the world.
Yeah. Well, which stretch of beach is it?
It's San Onofre, right? You know where the power.
Oh wow! Oh,
Yeah.
I hate you. God, that's nice.
When you come out, you're coming out in July. You'll have to. We'll rent a board and go out there.
Go to San Onofre. Go to Churches.
It's right north of where I was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, I've surfed Churches before.
Yeah. So there's like Trestles, Churches, and then where I was was more of like the mellow longboarding waves.
Yeah, I like that way better.
Yeah, it's fun.
I used to surf Torrey Pines a lot.
Yeah, that's when I lived down in San Diego. I surfed there quite a bit.
I like
too.
it because there was just nothing there, and the dolphins like to come up and down like up.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, anyways, sorry. I guess this is to be expected with you and I, with our kind of shared passions on many different levels. I don't know how you'd necessarily get into talking about a tragedy like we are in.
We're talking about surfing with dolphins.
I hate to. Oh man, I feel like a total jerk right now for laughing. Okay, so I had a listener of our podcast, Endurance Planet, send a note to me over the weekend saying that his cousin, who actually, most of our shows are like Q&A format. His cousin had recently asked a question and was, an up and coming triathlete, just went, I think, sub-3 in a marathon and was kicking butt and all this. And he got hit on Tuesday out in Georgia while riding. It sounded like it was kind of like a T-bone situation where the car pulled out and he didn't have enough time to react and probably just bam. And he got a good amount of injuries that he's going to be okay, but he's going to have a solid recovery time in front of him.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where you just hear of these stories on a weekly basis. It's not even like a random... And maybe it's because you and I are more involved in this world, but it just, you hear about them 24/7.
Yeah. I'm coaching a lady who's not a good road cyclist, and telling her where to go bike, I had to list out so many intersections where I'm like, and I live where it's relatively safe,
Yeah.
And telling her all the technicalities of how to get through each intersection safely.
That's nice.
And I'm just sitting in the back of my mind going, why am I having to do this?
Yeah.
Like, why can't it just work without people running over everybody?
Yeah, I've faced the same challenges when I'm talking to my local clients about riding. It's like, okay, don't go there. You can go here. And
how did you learn that? You learned that from somebody else or by a bad experience?
Yeah,
a near-death experience.
Yeah. So. It's not easy. So do they have these two dudes in custody now? Are they going to
totally.
Seriously, like, these guys are total D-bags. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you don't get any lower on my list than that.
I think what's funny about this, or what's interesting about it, is, guys will be like, oh, cyclist got hit, haha. But you nearly kill somebody and then try to get rid of the body. Right? Now that takes you to it. In people's minds, that's a different kind of criminal now.
I wonder if that
a lot of people will sympathize
then,
with the motorist, being like, oh, well, the cyclist shouldn't have been in the road, But then when, all of a sudden, when they tried to get rid of the body, right? Which is in a way, that's a lot like trying to hit and run, right? You're trying to get away. They're just trying to get away with it. Now all of a sudden, because it's a cowardly move, it's then all of a sudden it's then it's despicable, and it's like, well, what about the time where you just hit somebody? I mean, that's pretty bad too, right? So
terrible.
Yeah.
So were these guys one of two situations? They were either drunk and coming home from some bar or whatever,
the Longhorn Bar and Grill,
or they were on their way to work. What do you think it was?
They were probably on their way to a rodeo.
Oh, is that how it works in there?
Everything in Texas is a rodeo. Or they're going to go hunting.
Yeah, that's true too, I guess.
I'm being silly. I don't know. We did the Ragnar Relay running up and down that highway at 4 a.m, at 3 a.m, where we had half of a lane coned off for us to run. and running against traffic.
And I'm sure that's got to feel safe in that situation. That's why, I mean, right now, like, I'm actually doing so much more of my training on the trainer. One, because it's convenient and I'm busy and it's easy to just set up the bike and go for it. But more, it's just, it's a lot safer. And the less time I'm out on the road, the less chances of something bad happening.
Yeah, I do most of my weekday rides on the trainer. And then weekend rides early in the morning out in the out in the countryside. Yeah. I'm going to move closer to the router so we get better signal. I'm moving into Kai's room.
How's your Texas training going? I know you're just recovered from Galveston, but you're putting in some big volume right now from what I hear on the show.
I about killed myself recently just training.
Right.
Oh, I was going to say, before we got on the air, I typed you a message and I said, I got to eat a sandwich. I'm freaking dying over here. I was telling people at work, I can't afford this anymore. Like the higher volume.
Yeah.
The amount of food I have to eat is crazy. And then when you need those calories, when you're hungry, you're hungry. So, you end up eating.
The term is hangry with an A, hangry.
Hankering for some bacon. But you end up eating stuff that you don't want to eat, but just for the pure calories,
Yeah.
Really low quality stuff because you just need the calories. Maybe, and I know it's not just me because you hear these stories of people training like Phelps and whatever, training, 9,000 calories a day or whatever. And I'm guessing maybe I'm eating like 5 or 6 or something like that. But that's a lot of food. And if you try to eat quality food, it gets really expensive.
Super expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're fat adapted, you're just talking about a lot of energy expenditure, and you just got to replace it. You can't just live off of like coconut oil.
No, and the thing is with working out, you do burn a lot of carbs, so you got to get in way more carbs than the average person. The ratio is smaller, when you're piling on guacamole and coconut and all kinds of stuff like that. But still, I had to go to Burger King today and get a freaking burger because I was about to die. It felt like, and then
it sounds like maybe you could do a little bit better on your
I know. And then after I ate a burger, I had to get a milkshake to pile on top of that.
Oh, that sounds so rough. Your life, man. It sounds like someone's holding a gun to your head, practically.
I had to. So you had to, huh? Yeah, I had to. But man, but I've learned by adding in more salt in my fuel and in my water that I've quit craving salty foods, salty carbs like potato chips and stuff.
Interesting.
So if you do a big training block, workout day or whatever, and later in the day you're craving carbs for the salt, and you can tell, you want French fries or potato chips or something like that.
I'm a salty craver.
You probably ought to add more salt to your water and your fuel, and you'll notice that craving goes away your next workout.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily crave like salty chips. I just like more salty-oriented foods over sweet foods for the most part when it comes to my cravings. Yeah. Maybe I'll look into that.
Yeah, I'll sprinkle sea salt in my stuff, in my water, and I got one of those carbonated water makers. What's it called? SodaStream.
Oh, that's what I'm drinking right now.
Yeah.
See, this is my mason jar. This is what this. Oh crap! Are you there?
We're back.
Okay. Yeah, SodaStream is the shiznit for sure.
Yeah, so I'll put like a couple of teaspoons of sea salt in it.
Really?
And you get used to it, and it's great. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Ben told me this thing on the Sports Nutrition podcast a couple of weeks ago about how he puts liquid chocolate stevia drops and liquid peppermint extract drops. This is so Ben Greenfield, right?
Like a mad chemist or something.
So crazy. Into a soda stream to make like a pseudo sugar-free soda sort of thing. So I was like, ooh, that sounds kind of good. So I bought both of them and it's okay. I mean, I'm not much of a soda person to begin with. It's a little bit of a taste that you're like, I don't know if I'm really that into it. But
if you had invented it like Ben did, then you would think it tastes fantastic. That's the way it works.
No, I want it to taste fantastic because if I can have something that is like sweet like that to just instead of just water, I'm all about it. But it's got a little bit of that like artificially taste to me, I think, in the stevia.
Yeah, it does. Stevia doesn't. I love stevia, but it doesn't taste right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to eat it all the time. All right. You ready to move on to this hot topic, which I cannot get my mind around? So just like some people say they don't like the 70.3 being mixed in with the full Ironman, I don't like this. There's something about it that I just don't like. And no matter how much people say it's totally fine. That Ironman Maryland. Anyway, there's no pros racing in it.
Stupid.
And so the defense is, well, they rescued it from another company that's going under. They're putting on a race as soon as they can or something like that. But I'm like, in the big picture, it makes pros look like an expendable commodity. Like, well, we're not going to put them in this year. Well, then how important are they? If you're just going to, if you need to cut items to make a race happen, there's other things you could cut. Why are you cutting the pros?
Totally. Yeah, this one kind of took me by surprise, actually. And I don't know anything officially from anyone, but I do think that it might be an effort to, because a lot of other people are arguing that the depth of the pro field in the Ironman races as they are right now is getting weaker and weaker, and it's just not as, you see them in the championship events, Frankfurt, Melbourne, and over here in Texas. Well, actually, I guess Mont Tremblant is it Texas this year, or is it Mont Tremblant for the Ironman? The full Ironman.
Mont Tremblant.
You get deep fields there, of course, because that's where the money and the points are at. But in the smaller races, and as more races get on the radar, you're just not seeing the fields as deep. So I would assume that this is maybe an effort to just maybe like funnel out all the pros into the Ironmans that really are of worth to WTC.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One comment was, so this is cool. An age grouper is going to win, race. And I thought, well, no, they're not, because so you think like the whole reason that pro class, it's actually called open, right? Open elite. So that means you're racing against everybody, right? So like when I did the SOS triathlon, you register as age, and this is like if you do a trail run, right? Like an ultra run, you can race as either an age or you can race as open.
Yeah.
And so no, an age group, and the whole reason they created it is because if you just raise age group, we got some people that are pretty badass, and you can't compare them. I mean, you can versus their time, but they don't get any special recognition for winning the whole race. Somebody's going to win that entire race, and you don't get any special recognition for it.
Nor you don't get your money back or anything. I was reading the Slow Twitch forum like you were too. I actually saw that you commented on it. But, well, can we, pay and even if they're not pros, should we give them, at least their money back or something for winning the race? I mean, let's get creative here. And
well, now you're making them special, though.
Yeah, and that's
what we're saying is no special people.
No special treatment.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about my idea, though? And I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had this idea about them trying to just keep the depth of the pro fields more legit at certain races.
I think they're doing that anyways. I mean, you can already say, well, at this race, there's
point system.
There's just this race tends to attract, for whatever reason, a bigger pro field, and then this race doesn't.
So, do you think it's a money issue of paying out the pros?
I don't know about that. Yes.
Controversy.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And that's the thing, right? I've learned over the years to not say something unless that's outside of what I know. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what?
As I can tell you how things feel, though, and how things look. And that's what I said. I said, this looks bad. And the guy said, well, I don't think it's bad, whatever. And I said, I don't, on this thread that you saw. And I said, well, I didn't mean it is bad. I'm just saying it looks bad. You got people that are pissed off and yelling about it. So it obviously looks bad. So you should have warned that you were going to do this or something instead of, or a better explanation. There was no real explanation. That's the problem, right, with the PR of the whole thing.
That's what I was just going to say. So did Ironman actually say why they decided not to have a pro field yet?
If they did,
going to
they
eventually.
haven't done it well enough for two people that run triathlon podcasts to not know about it.
Right? And I actually was trying to dig around before we got on the phone, and that's how I even stumbled upon a Slow Twitch forum, which I do not participate in on a regular basis, just for the record.
Somebody said you were hot on Slow Twitch, by the way.
Oh, well, maybe I should
maybe
start looking at it more. Just kidding. Definitely.
You're like, I agree with this subject. Thank you. Thumbs up.
Genius. So I have it pulled up on my screen now, though, and, someone was like, people are like doing all these like mathematical equations of like how
That's
much
Slow Twitch for you. It's mad.
It's just all this crazy stuff on like, if a pro's paying $800 a year and there's 900 pros, what does that mean? And blah, blah, blah. And is CEO Ironman on Slow Twitch, is that actually Andrew Messick? Or is that
that is him. But I don't know if that's him on Slow Twitch.
That all the pro fees are 100% spent. Well, okay, I don't want to. He said all of the pro fees are spent on anti-doping, and it's
he's
not.
The one that said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that is where all the money goes, and like I said, I don't follow Switch's forums, so if CEO Ironman is actually Andrew Messick or not, I don't know, but
That's probably him, unless it's a troll.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
afraid.
should register the name CEO and like spell like CE0. Right? Say all entry races are free for the next 5 minutes. Everybody go sign up for everything.
And it's still, that race is not any cheaper if you want to think that part of your registration fee goes toward the pro purse.
Uh-huh.
I think it's still the same, like in the 600s. Probably to sign up for.
Well, there's this one guy that I do not agree with. He comes across as a jerk to me, and he's like, I don't want pros ever in any of my races. They don't do anything for me, that kind of attitude.
For me?
Yeah, and I'm like, and then somebody figured out, it was either him or somebody else. $35 of my fee, goes to the pros. I'd rather have my $35 back. And I'm like,
please.
35 out of 600 and something? I mean, that's nothing.
Please.
So.
Seriously, we are one of the few sports in which you can race right next to a professional,
and that's the coolest thing ever.
It's the coolest, and when you have a wave start and you're however the stars align, and you can actually see the pros coming in on the run as you're going out or whatever it may be. Like, how cool is that? Yeah. I love that part of it.
And pros are people that have it figured out. They figured out how to do this. They figured out how to do it fast. There are guinea pigs. So you're like, they're people you can actually ask, like how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are just average people. There's some, that are genetically just freaks and gifted, but there's a whole lot of them that figured out how to do it, and they were just average, and so it's so cool to like have them in your race.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And they're, for my experience with all the pros that I've known and met over the years, they're very approachable. There's very few jerks out there. I don't know, like maybe on deeper levels that they can be jerky after a while, but for the most part, I've had really
there's a long pause. And you're like, well, maybe they could be jerky.
I don't know. I'm not saying
after a little while.
Yeah, after a little while, you're like, dude, what the hell? But what? Okay, so I have another question on this though. Are pros, can they enter as an age grouper if they wanted to at this race?
No, they're prohibited for whenever
so they're
you're
completely
a pro.
banned from racing.
They're banned from racing. That's what I'm saying. Like, say you're a pro. You work your ass off. You live in the Maryland area, right? You're a pro. And you're like, holy crap, there's an Ironman right down my street. I can train for it. I can train on the course. I could win this thing. I could become a big name pro, right? Oh, by the way, there's no pros. I'd be pissed.
Well, so that brings you the whole idea of prize purses in these events, because if I were a pro, I'd be like, fine, I'll just go find a event like something in the challenge series that's going to have a legit prize purse and maybe be more bang for my buck or whatever. Screw you, Ironman, if you're going to not let me race this race. But that said, I'm not a pro. Have any pros responded to this news? Are they pissed off? Do they even care?
I found out about it by God, he's not Polish, I don't think. He might be. But he did really, really well in Ironman Texas a few years ago, so he stayed. I think he just never got on the plane to go back to Eastern Europe. He found a host family, got a job coaching here, and just trains on the course like nonstop, right?
That's awesome.
And that's the guy that I sent you the link from. So on Twitter, he was pissed. He's like, "There's no freaking pros." And so what if Ironman Texas to him turned into a non-pro race, right?
They couldn't do that though. I mean, that's one of the races that has like. They could, obviously, yeah, right. You're right.
But he got a homestay. He set up his whole life. A lot of pros don't make a lot of money, built around this race, and now there's no pros.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's not cool.
Well, you're just,
But they could have cut something else. It's a symbol of how much the pros mean to them. Why couldn't they cut something else if they're trying to cut corners or something? Unless it's a thing where they're trying to concentrate the pro field.
Maybe it'd be good if we got a public statement from Ironman to clarify this.
We demand
because it sounds like there's a lot of
Brett and Tawnee need a public statement,
and we're very important people. We need our answers so we can then supply.
I'm sitting here on my son's beanbag, demanding
with soccer trophies behind your head.
Oh, look at that! I didn't even see that. Oh, all these trophies I didn't notice.
Oh, right. Where's your triathlon ribbons or medallions?
They're all my son's soccer trophy. They're little soccer balls.
Oh, man.
They get a trophy for just waking up nowadays. So you've got a bunch
Everyone's
of
treated
woken
equal.
up a lot.
There are no losers anymore, right?
No. Okay, so let's see. You came up with this really good story about Challenge Taiwan.
Yeah, it sounded like the place to be over the weekend. Every time I kind of caught wind on the Twitter land, I would see someone like Hillary Biscay or Belinda Granger or Macca or, Kate Bevilacqua or Guy Cross. I mean, they're all just living it up over there. I need to start doing some of these international races because it sounds like the after parties. Yeah, all of it looks rad. The race venue, the after party, it all just seems legit.
So how do people like us, you, me, get to races this far away? How do we get sent? How is Ben doing this? Because he's on a plane every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes, seriously. I don't know. That's a good question. Well, what you need to do after you publish this podcast is conveniently send it to the right people, the right art race directors and people in charge of these events and be like, hint, hint, wink, wink. We have two really cool people that will cover your race for you.
Okay, this is what we're saying right now. Brett and Tawnee will cover your race if you get us there and your race is in a super cool place.
It has to be in a super cool place.
Now, have you ever had an offer to go do a race?
Yeah, because I've been doing a little bit of some stuff with Macca X thing, but no one's sending me, plane tickets or. Right.
I've done the SOS twice. Twice? Yeah, just twice. But anyway, with free entry to go cover it. Yeah.
And
that's an amazing race. It's absolutely beautiful. I jumped on that. And then the race in Georgia, I could get into it. I can't make it. And then a couple other. I did one in Northern California in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. All they wanted me to, they're just fans of the show, and they're part of the race team putting it together. And we're like, hey, we'll give you free entry if you come up here and check out the race. And a lot of times I have to say no, and sometimes I can't say yes, and it's been great. But yeah, we need the Brett and Tawnee show in Melbourne, right?
Word. I'm in.
And we cover it. And we do pre-race, post-race, all kinds of cool stuff.
I mean, that's essentially how I've gotten my butt to Kona the last handful of years is obviously not my race quality at this point. Me neither. I'm a good triathlete. I'm not that great of a triathlete yet. But, the ability to cover the race well and have fun with it, people are willing to support that. And the thing that I've noticed in going to Kona is that it puts a lot of pressure on you. You don't just get those donations and be like, woohoo, free trip to Hawaii. You're like, oh man, now I'm working for the people. They want, you know what I mean?
They have expectations.
Have to deliver.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but it's definitely worth it. I would prefer to do it that way, to be able to travel and do races and report on them in that sense. It's fun.
I think it's a market that we could crack open because they're already asking us to come kind of do it, but we're at the point right now where we have to pay for our own travel.
Yeah, that's the tough
and
part.
So we need to up the game here and tell we are willing to travel and come to your race even more so, but we need help getting there. It's really expensive.
It's really expensive.
We got to sell ourselves to all this nice talk we've been doing about Ironman. They're sure to offer us.
Oh yeah, they're like in love with us.
Now
I
love Challenge and Rev 3 as well, and I'm dying for them to have a race in Texas. Like they don't have any in my area. So,
dude, Ironman has a monopoly on Texas. It seems they have so many. How many like Ironman events are there? 4?
Oh, just like 4.
5?
4. Yeah, but Texas is so huge. I mean, it's like 5 states, really.
So Challenge Taiwan, it's interesting to look at their prize purse. They had for first place, they had a $50,000 euro prize pool. Sorry, not dollar. That's big. That's big time.
That's probably, what do you think that is? Like, is that
that's
like 80, 90,000, or is it more than that?
I think it's less than that. I think it's like low 70s maybe. Yeah. But I mean, that's not like it's not a championship race or anything like that. It's just one of their races.
I know.
And they had a 70.3 go on at the same time, I think. I don't know if it's the same day.
Because Macca did the 70.3. I think it was different days. He did the relay one day and then the full 70.3 the next day.
Awesome. So I couldn't find results outside of the top 5 from firstoffthebike.com, which I love their site and I love Phil. He's a great guy. But definitely to me, the coolest thing that came out of that race was Belinda Granger, who I've definitely had the pleasure of meeting. And she is just one of the most charismatic, awesome people you'll ever meet in your life. And how she has the energy she does, I don't know, being that she's such a badass triathlete.
Yeah.
But it was her 50th Ironman.
Yeah. And
she podiumed. She got 3rd.
See, I think if you train right and you don't exhaust yourself, then you can be really fast like this for a long, long time, you know?
I agree. I mean, but she lives it, though. You know, I don't think she maybe coaches, I don't know, but body 10 times better than I will ever.
She's got abs that, like, make you want to do laundry. You're like, I need to wash my clothes on those. And
she just carries herself so damn well.
Yeah.
But yeah, 50 Ironmans. The funny thing is Hillary still has her beat with how many Ironmans she's done.
62 or 63.
Something crazy. I don't even.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was great. I mean, it sounds like there was quite a battle. I was reading a little bit about it, and Belinda, she's a great swimmer, but she didn't have that great of a swim and had to play catch up on the bike, which she was saying actually kind of worked to her advantage, because here she is in her mind being like, all right, bad swim. I can't get complacent and just go with the flow. I got to get back into the mix of things, and ended up biking him down and running him down and got on that podium. Bam. Love it.
Yeah. I was listening to you. I think you were talking to Lucho.
Yeah.
And he said something really profound, and then your response was "word."
Yeah.
That made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, we get pretty technical with things sometimes on our show.
It was like this long sentence, like this really insightful thing, and you just went "word" like that.
Well, Lucho will say himself that, you know, the way a lot of our shows go, especially on his end, he'll just sort of ramble. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Tell me if you're like this as a coach. When you're trying to figure out the answer to whatever not necessarily a problem, but just like an issue, you go through like this cycle, and your brain just kind of works. Like you kind of go through the process of figuring it out.
Yeah.
Well, for us, that translates into just being extremely garrulous on the show of just.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
There should be a drinking game every time he says "depends."
We've definitely gotten comments on the drinking game for "it depends," and when the issue of anything math related comes up.
Yeah, math, depends, math, intervals.
Well, I don't know. Was it 2 weeks ago? We recorded later in the afternoon, and he just was like, "Screw it, I'm opening a beer." So he's like drinking a beer while we're recording.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, right?
Okay, so let's see. We have, I guess that pretty much wraps it up, because we talked about Barcelona already, and that's all I've got. Yeah. So there's an Ironman Barcelona, and that sounds really nice. I did my first European trip to Spain. That is awesome out there for cycling. So
thumbs up to going out to do that race. It's worth the trip.
Totally, yeah. The motorists around Spain are super, super friendly.
Nice.
They'll cheer you on. John Hirsch was saying, okay, now listen, if somebody leans out their car and starts yelling at you, they're not angry. They're actually cheering you on.
Yeah, that's the opposite in America.
Yeah, they're yelling a lot of times animal. They go, animal! Like
really?
Yeah, and it happened to me when I was climbing up the
cool.
mountain. Yeah, a lady leaned out of her car and goes, animal! Like that. I was like, I flinched at first. I was like, holy crap. And then I was like, oh yeah, they're cheering.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Cool. It's kind of on my radar, but again, it goes back to that little thing called money and expenses of travel.
Yes. So Ironman Barcelona, listen. We're ready. We can cover your race.
We can do it.
We can do it. Don't get a couple. Don't tell a couple of super motivated Type A triathletes they can't do something, because we'll figure it out.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. All right, man.
We got to bail.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks for bringing me on. Kind of just.
All right, we'll do it again. I want to rotate people in and out if I can, to make it like really interesting.
Well, bring me on anytime. I've normally I do my triathlon show with Brad Culp of Lava Magazine, but he's a busy boy these days, and it's really hard to nail a time down with him. So, and I miss having all the triathlon news geek out side of stuff. So I'm always open to talk about it. And okay. I'll definitely send our Endurance Planet folks over to listen to this episode.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Sure.
A news segment is, there's not enough of it in triathlon.
I agree.
There's like that guy out training in Texas all the time, and then stuff like it, so news is better.
On the race end of things, if you ever really want to dive deep into results and splits and talk about pros and their history of how they've raced before, I have a lot of good knowledge in that.
Oh, you do? Because I follow that kind of stuff.
The last few years, I've even written the previews for 70.3 Worlds in Vegas and Ironman World Championships. Yeah. And I've actually created spreadsheets of going through a lot of the top pros, because we'll choose like 10 guys and 10 girls to preview, and usually obviously some of them are going to end up on the podium or have been on the podium, and I've gone through and like literally compiled like a whole bunch of stats for them on previous years of racing, like how many Ironman wins they have, like their career highlights, like interesting facts on where they came from or injury stuff. So
who's the newest? Who should we be watching this year that you think is up and coming based on trending from the past?
Definitely the guys and gals from the ITU that are making the leap into 70.3 racing.
Oh, that guy that won Oceanside. Jan.
Yeah. Well, Jan Frodeno, dude, I saw
crap.
I saw that live, and it was a beautiful thing to watch someone execute a race like that.
There is something watching sports where somebody is just so good. You're just, you're watching something really special right now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but it's a run in those sense. Like those guys are 70.3. They're now training for them like Olympics on a lot of levels. And so the ITU guys are having this really good time of making that leap and doing well. Or even look at someone like Liz Blatchford, who did so well at Ironman last year, coming from ITU background.
And haven't you totally noticed the trend, like with Pete Jacobs and other people, where they'll win something big
and then flop.
And then flop hard, and then they'll come back in a couple years and start doing great again, and they'll say, that year after I won big, the media frenzy just ruined my training. There's so many commitments from winning, sponsor appearances and things like that, that it wrecks their training, and they're like, well, I won last year, so I'm pretty good, so maybe I don't need to train. They make sacrifices for the media and the money, and then they have bad results for a while they try to catch back up.
Makes you respect someone like Chrissy and people that can do it consecutively.
Yeah.
Knowing that side of it, because I can't even imagine the mental side and the obligations you have after winning a world championship event and still training 20 plus hours a week at that level.
Yeah.
Really? And so, a lot of them have families and Yeah, so it's crazy. But no, geeking out on the speedy pros out there is definitely a favorite pastime of mine.
People can't see this, but you're rubbing your hands together and looking off into the distance.
Yes.
Like a mad scientist. You're plotting. You're like, yes, I love these numbers. So, okay, then we'll do it. Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on, and talk to you later. Have a good rest of the show. Bye.
All right, thanks, Tawnee. And like she was saying, she'd love to be on the show again. I'm definitely up for that. She's super cool to do an interview with, and also just a lot of fun to talk with. And I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, it's a beautiful day down here in Texas. It's starting to heat up, and I'm in a parking lot outside of Freebird's, just hanging out. Freebird's Burrito Shop. I just had part of my lunch, and I wrap it up in foil and take it with me and snack on the rest of it over the rest of the afternoon. It's got lots of greens and beans inside, and guacamole and good stuff. All right, let's see. We've got. Well, I was about to say sponsors, but no. Let's do Kai's coaching for kids and grown-ups, because a lot of his stuff, he says, is actually useful for adults. This was a lot of fun. I recorded this on the way back home. Well, actually, on the way back to my office after at lunch, we swung by the bike shop, and he put his $85 down on his specialized mountain bike that he was saving up for and putting it on layaway. It's really, really cute and really cool. So let's get started with Kai. Here we go. All right, I'm here with Coach Kai. How's it going?
Good.
You're a man of few words, huh?
Yep.
All right, we are driving back from the bike shop, and Kai has put down money from his coaching donations and his lemonade stand, which actually made quite a bit of money, which is a pretty smart idea, down on his bike. And how much have you put down so far?
$85.00.
And 0 cents?
That's not actually
So, all right. So Kai's going to teach us a little bit about open water swimming for kids. And also, how does it feel to almost own a really cool brand new mountain bike?
It feels very fast.
You feel fast?
Yeah.
What do you mean fast?
I don't know.
So, so what color did you pick out?
Black and red.
It had a little bit of white in it too, right?
Yeah, a little tiny bit.
Yeah. And let's see, and $85. What did it feel like to hand over $85 in cash?
Nervous.
Nervous?
Nervous.
Like you're giving away part of your body or something, right?
Yeah.
And now they have it.
Just like the serial killer.
What?
Take part of your money away or something, and then you barely have any left.
A serial killer?
Yeah.
Now this podcast is getting good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woo!
All right. Just when you thought this might not get interesting, it just did. Okay, so thank you everybody that's helping out Kai. And if you feel like the coaching advice that he's about to give has helped you in any bit, you can help Kai out. We'll tell you how afterwards. Okay, so we're going to talk about
Open water swimming.
open water swimming. So Kai, how many times have you swam open water?
Wait, are you counting about in training?
In training too, yeah. With your team.
About 20 times.
So you're a member of Trinity Multisport, and you've been racing about 3 years. I know you've done at least one race that was open water in Galveston Bay.
Yep.
And that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And but you've also trained a lot. The team will go to Lake Bryan and swim out in the lake as a team. I mean, it's pretty crazy, right?
Yep.
And then you'll trail run on the mountain bike trails and stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun.
Yeah. Okay, so when you think about like both the training and the racing, what are some things that if you were taking a new friend with you that wasn't, let's say, think of a friend that you would want to go with you that you think could do it, but has never been. What's his name or her name?
Grant.
Grant never did open water swimming?
Nope.
Okay, Grant's really athletic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were going to tell Grant what to do, what would you say?
Don't drown.
No, that's something I would say. Okay, and?
I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, you do. So, do you swim? How do you see where you're going?
Well, if the water's clear, you can always, kind of look through the water.
Yeah. Do you follow the bubbles of the person in front of you?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, what do you do?
Sometimes you can, when you breathe, you can just, look forward, and then you can see where you're going sometimes.
So when you're breathing, you lift your head up and look forward.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What if the water's really dark and scary?
You don't be nervous.
Yeah?
Well, you can be a little.
It's okay to be somewhat nervous, right?
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah, but they would not have a race if there were, big monsters in the water.
I never thought about it like that.
Okay. And if it's still...
What if you can't touch the bottom? Well, now what? What do I do? I can't touch the bottom. Kai, I'm Grant. I'm scared.
Don't drown.
I don't think that's helping anybody right now.
It's helping me.
Oh. Okay. So, you don't need to touch the bottom to swim.
Oh.
What about you could just swim over to an adult, right? Or somebody in a canoe?
Yep.
So that's not really that big of a deal, right? What about the water being cold? Has it ever been cold?
A lot of times, yes. Yes, it has.
Okay. So then what? What do you do when it's cold?
Relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you just pee in the water and let the water get all warm around you?
Yeah.
Hey.
That actually sounds like a really good idea.
I'm not the first person to think of that. I'm just letting you know. All right. And then, but you're so young, you guys don't wear wetsuits. You just swim, right?
No.
So it can't be that cold, right? All right. So when you go into the water, how do you get into the water first? Do you run in or do you carefully walk in?
I'd carefully walk in if it was open water swimming.
Yeah. Now, what if there's waves? What do you do then? Don't drown?
No, don't let the water splash you in the face.
Oh, do you know how to breathe on either side?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
So you could breathe on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, what about if you can't see where you're supposed to go at all? Well, then what do you do?
You can just...
I would just follow the people.
Yeah, I'd just follow the people in front of you.
Yeah,
Or
not
where
worry.
their feet are, if they're really close to you.
Yeah. And then, what do you do if... I'm trying to think of things that could go wrong, and then what you could do. When you're about to finish the swim, what do? You got to get to your bike. Tell me, when you did the Galveston race, the chemo race, where you came out of the bay, right? What was that like? Step by step.
Step by step. What do you mean?
Well, first you did what? And then you did what?
First, you got out of the water.
Yeah.
Then you had to run to your bike. Then you go into the transition area.
Uh-huh.
Then you get all ready for the bike. Then you go off on your bike.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
And then boosh. That's one of the steps?
Yeah.
All right. I like that, dude. There's really... So, basically, from this interview with you, where I'm kind of discovering there's really not that much to it that's special, that you should just do it, right? There's no magical
unicorns or anything.
Yeah, there's no super swimming unicorns. It's just learn how to swim.
Yeah.
And it's not that bad. So, Kai, you want to hear my scariest swim?
Yeah.
One time I was doing a swim and it was foggy and I couldn't see anything. I didn't know which way to go.
Okay.
And that was really scary. So you know what I did?
What?
I figured that I would eventually just run into land somewhere. So I just kept swimming.
Okay.
And then eventually I did. I found some other people and we all swam together. We were fine. And then another time I was swimming and a lightning storm came in after we started the race. It was a half Ironman, so we were out in the water a little bit. All of a sudden the lightning started striking.
Were you in the water?
Yeah. I thought it was a camera flashing, but it was lightning. What do you think about that?
That's weird.
All right. So, are we done?
Yeah.
You excited about your bike?
Yeah.
Your mind seems to be somewhere else. Are you hungry or something?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I thought so. All right.
Or I'm really thirsty.
All right. Well, here comes Jesse. Kai locked the door. All right. I'll be right back, Bing. All right. I'm back. We're back. I dropped Kai off. And now it's just me in the car. So we'll wrap up Kai's coaching real quick. So he next episode he's going to do biking for kids and adults too on the triathlon course, and how to train your kid for their first triathlon, the bike portion. And then an episode after that we'll do a run portion. It'll be fun, man. So Kai got a couple more donations in. And somebody said, we'll read the donations off in a little bit, but somebody said that they felt like, even though it was for kids, that it actually helped him a lot in his adult triathlon. So that was pretty cool. And so what we're doing is we're saving up for Kai's mountain bike. We're close to being there, more than halfway. And it's a specialized kids 24-inch mountain bike. And it ends up that after taxes, it's $385. So the guys at the shop said they get no complaints from it whatsoever, that it's a really great off-road bike. And the plan is for Kai to, well, we're already doing this with a BMX bike that's kind of falling apart, and has no gearing, so Kai has to end up walking this. I go trail running, and then Kai goes with me, and we have father-son time and family time. Emily will go too sometimes. And we have family time while I run. Kai goes ahead or follows behind on his bike off-road. So he's getting mountain biking. And he hits a hill, and he can't climb up it because he runs out of gears, because he's only got one, and he has to end up pushing this bike up the hill. And he's got a little kid's road bike that has gearing on it. So he's like, man, I need gears. And I'm like, well, they have mountain bikes like that. You got to earn it, and you can do it and get it. And I said, you know stuff about training that is really useful, so why don't you use the internet, and we'll put you out there and you start coaching people and see if you can raise money this way for your bike. And it's working out, man. So he's 9 years old and he's got his first job, man. How about that, huh? He's an amazing kid. So let's see, we got that. If you want to support Kai and his coaching, Kai's coaching for kids. Then, sorry laughing. It's so adorable that you can go on the left side of the podcast website, ZenTriathlon.com. There's donate to support the show, and if you say it's for Kai, or if you don't say actually, and it's a one-time donation, I'm just giving it to Kai anyways. I got one donation where it just didn't say anything, and so I'm giving that to Kai because I'm just figuring it's probably for him anyway. Anyway, it's PayPal, and you can set up a recurring donation, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. So anyway, thanks everybody for helping out with Kai's coaching for kids, and he's He's getting better every episode. You can see him coming to life. And my long-term plan is to have him as a co-host on this show years from now, and keep Zen and the Art of Triathlon going forever with him. How about that as a plan? All right, I'm going to go and grab a burrito. Out. Bang. All right, we are back to the Freebirds parking lot with the birds, the grackles. And let's get going here with some sponsor notes and donations. Let's do donations first. So we have the ability for you to help support the show on a recurring basis. You can go to zentriathlon.com, and on the left-hand side, there is a link, a PayPal link, support the show. And for less than $4 a month, which is about $1 an episode, you can help keep this show alive. It definitely pays for the bandwidth costs, all the other associated costs with the show. That money goes into a PayPal account, and I had to reorder a part, and I used the money out of that PayPal account to buy that part. What was that? God, it seems like all kinds of stuff right now. And I just bought electrolyte pills and sunscreen specifically for the Ironman Texas race. The stuff I'm going to be carrying during the race. It's a really small applicator of sunscreen, like travel size, really small. And I carry that with me on the bike, and about halfway through the bike ride, I start putting on more sunscreen. And I pay for that out of the PayPal account that you guys dump money into. Thank God. Emily would kill me if I didn't have money to pay for this stuff. And let's see. Recurring donations. Elizabeth Davis, Jonathan Woodman, Paul White, Weston Tanner, Todd Nelson, Matthew Heinz. What's up, Matthew? Jason Drury. And again, those are one-time recurring donations, which really help out. And you can do also a one-time donation as well. And if you do that, you can actually find a way to drop me a note. And Jason Drury actually did both a recurring and a one-time. Thanks a lot, man. And his note said, I would like to donate this to Kai's Bike Fund. I just listened to the episode where he does Kai's tips, and I actually found it useful for myself since I will be doing my first sprint try in a few months. He sounds like a great kid. Hope you get your bike soon. Kai. Cool. I'm going to read that to him. He loves this stuff. And Christopher Tynes and Tim Townsend. I sent Tim the picture, personally sent him the picture of Kai putting the money down, and the guy on the other side of the counter counting up the $85. It's a really cool picture. And this is really teaching Kai, one, you can get the things you want if you work hard, and two, save up to get the things that you work hard. He's saying things on a regular basis, like we'll be watching TV and there'll be a commercial, and he's like, well, that's a cool action figure. I'm like, oh, you think that's cool? And he's like, yeah, but I don't want it now. I want my bike. So I'm saving up for my bike. Like, he's saying these things himself. So it's working. It's really working. We're teaching an American citizen to save their money and buy things when they actually have the money instead of going into debt and using credit. So we as a society are doing a good job with this one citizen. Okay. Let's see. I think we have big sponsors. Hornet Juice. You can get Hornet Juice as a protein powder that helps you metabolize body fat. I think that's on the right side of zentriathlon.com. And those purchases, I send you a personalized email, and I ask you, how you're doing wherever you are that you're living. I love doing that. And if you get some Hornet Juice, and then let's see, we've got Sunto and Amrita Bar. Make sure to go check out Amrita Health Bars. I eat their bars like crazy. When you need an energy bar, these are the ones that you want. They are just fantastic. Discount code ZEN when you go check out. And then, let's see. Oh man, there's just so many people that help out with the show. Oh, we have the Mountain Madness half going on in Georgia. Go check them out. All5sports.com. I lost my internet connection, so now I can't look it up. I'm sorry. And then, yeah, I think that's Sunto. Gosh, they're coming out with a new watch soon. It's going to be killer. And all my training, everything I do is with the Sunto Ambit. And just absolutely love the watch. It's super, super cool. And we'll be using the hell out of it. Oh, my Galveston race, the entire workout is available as a one Sunto file. It's pretty freaking cool. All right, let's go ahead and get on with the rest of the show. The training log is plenty long. Like I said, there's tons of nutrition and training tips and experimenting with different things. The whole reason this show is called The Natural is during this episode, I start putting into effect of learning your natural form and your natural cadence and relearning that, and then using that as your easy workout. Just go with what feels natural. Quit trying to mess with everything. And then the more you go natural, that's actually the top end of your fat burning zone. And the more you do it, the better you get at fat burning, and the more fuel efficient you get, and actually the faster you get at what feels like natural to you. So train like a natural. Go at a natural pace. And I've started putting that into the people I coach into their workouts. You know, it's like a easy 2-hour bike ride. Go at your natural, what feels like your natural pace, at your natural cadence, and but at the top end of that, you know, like quality. Think quality, and but natural but quality. Anyway, that's all in this training log. You're really gonna dig it. And again, like I said, my bike seems to explode all over the place. My gear is coming apart as I'm putting in just crazy freaking mileage for Ironman Texas. Let's go ahead and get started with the training log. Here we go.
You are entering the ZenTri training log zone. Huneli.
Hi everybody, my name's Brett. I'm a triathlete.
I decided it's time I got some friends more suited to my status.
But Joe, we've been friends for years.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Come on, dudes, let's go exercise! Exercise! I'm gonna do sit-ups till I poop myself!
All right, I don't know if people can hear us, but we're at Kai's mud run. How's it going, babe?
It's going good.
Proud of your son today?
I'm very proud. I'm always proud of him. He's standing next to the coach right now.
Kai went biking while I ran this morning, and then we went swimming, and then he played a soccer game.
Drug a dead snake around.
Again, you do not have to go down
there was
the
a dead snake. This fun run's going to be pretty cool, so I'm going to try to capture some of it on audio. So it's really loud right now because it's windy and we're at the start line, so we'll see. Here we go. Okay, they said they're going to start in 20 seconds and 10 seconds, and it's a big cannon, so y'all hold on. It's combat themed. Ow, that made my ears ring. And here they go. Go, go, go! Go, Louie! They're being led by a gas-powered, what is that called? Golf cart. It's a gas-powered golf cart, a mule. And there's adults in it too. That's why I was yelling at Louie. He's the kids triathlon coach. I'm making my way over to the slide, man. I think that's the best. All right, that was interesting. That was Kai's mud run. It was 1 mile. I'm back at the house. It's now Sunday, and I just wrapped up a 4-hour ride. It's my longest ride so far, and of the year. And a couple little tips. Well, first off, I saw a couple people, randoneering, or no, they were riding across the country, and they were coming from Fort Lauderdale, and I asked them. I slowed down, scared the crap out of them when I passed them. They're loaded down with gear and stuff. It looked like it was a husband and wife. Microwave, eggs. You can scramble eggs in the microwave. I put in guacamole with them and stir them up, 2 eggs. Let's try 30 seconds. And I've already had them in for 40 seconds. And a little bit of sriracha sauce. And usually I put in like pico. Oh, Emily got salsa. But they weren't wearing helmets. And, I didn't bother messing with them and telling them that they were crazy, that they should wear helmets. I guess they know that. But bike crashes where you fall over and hit your head, you don't need another car. We're out in some country road out in the middle of nowhere. Bike crashes where you really smack your head into the pavement happen totally when you don't think they're going to happen. Where's the salsa, Emily? She said she got some. Where is it? I need carbs. Salsa is like the best form of carbs. Here's some. Mild. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to put in some sriracha. And I was telling some girls at work Friday about how many times, I don't know why I was talking about it, about how many times I've fallen down and hit my head on the pavement. And they're kind of laughing, and they said, what do you, suck or something, basically? And I go, no, I ride a lot, and it's going to happen, you know? And wet pavement in a turn, especially on a road you've never been on, you don't know what's there. And I said, whenever you fall over, you smack your head hard into the pavement. And that sucks. Really sucks. And the younger girl said, I would have laughed at you if I'd seen that. And I said, no, you would have like freaked out, because it is really scary when you see somebody wreck hard on a bike. But what was really funny is I wasn't even going all that fast. So you never know when it's going to happen. Oh, these scrambled eggs with guacamole in it. Stir them around, put them back in the microwave. They look like they need about another 15 seconds. I hope this isn't messing with the recording. Time cook 1:05. Start. Anyway, if I run this afternoon, this will be my longest training week. I think it might already be this spring. So I'm going to hit like 22 and a half hours this week. And this ride was not a, like crazy ride going like bat out of hell and trying to be all fast. It was more of like moderate pace, a little bit faster than Ironman pace, because Ironman's really holding back. And it was a 4-hour ride on purpose. Yeah, these eggs are done. Oh, y'all look beautiful. And what did I do? Oh, here's my salsa. Hold on, I'm going to open this up. Let's see if it pops like a vacuum. Oh, I'm so weak. Ironmen are weak. Oh. There it goes. Hold on. Ooh, I'm just gonna pour it right out of the jar into this thing. Make a mess. Emily's gonna be mad. Yeah, it's not bad. You make such a mess. Yeah, baby, but I'm your mess. Anyway, so the ride is more of a test of nutrition. How long can you go without fading? And if you do start to fade, what do you do to fix it? So I get smarter every year. And so this ride, as I started to kind of fade on energy a little bit, it's like you pick up tips, kind of here and there. Lucho on Endurance Planet, I think was the latest one, said something that rang with me. And it's, you don't want an empty stomach. Empty stomach's bad. Right? So if your stomach starts feeling empty, put something in it. But what should you put in it? Jesse Kropelnicki, lots of calories. All right? Ben Greenfield, not too many calories. Brett Blankner, me, Coach Brett. Dilute those calories with water, because you need to be drinking tons of water, way more water than you think. And if you don't drink enough water, those calories aren't going to digest, and all those calories you ate are going to make you feel sick to your stomach. That's a problem I have. So I had a mix of maltodextrin powder and honey and a tiny little bit of sea salt in it. And after a while, I started feeling low. And I didn't want to drink any more of that. That's simple sugar and simple starches. So I busted out both an Amarita bar and a Cliff bar. And I kind of alternated between the two because they taste different. And they've got fat calories in them, a little bit of protein. So you get in way more calories per bite. And different flavors. And then after a little while, I started feeling really good again. So there's that. And a training tip for you. What makes you faster is to do just a little bit below threshold. Threshold is, kind of what gives you a burning feeling in your legs. And the more you go, I got to talk about that. The more you go, the better you get at feeling kind of what threshold is. So you're out on a ride or on a run, a really smart way to train is use the hills to get just a little bit below threshold, a little bit at threshold, a little bit above threshold, and then use the downhills and the flats or whatever you want to back off the speed, because you're going to go faster anyway because it's flatter downhill. Back off the speed and recover and cruise along at your easy speed. And then the next hill, you kind of get near threshold, above threshold. And you don't do it all the time, but you just do it enough. And it's that at threshold stuff that makes you faster. It stimulates muscle growth. If you don't ever do it, you're kind of wasting your time out there. Or you could be much more using your time. If you do it too much, well, then you blow up. So you learn over time how to do just the right amount, so that it's kind of like a weight workout. It kind of stimulates a little bit of growth. And you can stop at any time. You don't have to do it every hill. Once you feel like you've got a good workout from it, then you kind of hold back. Okay, so the other thing is I've been doing a lot more volume lately, and I've noticed the nuances. I think I've talked about this last episode, of doing a lot more volume. You're spending so much more time doing the sport that you become more of an expert at what's going on, right? So people are like, well, I'll do intervals and I'll do minimalist training. Well, that's good if you are a world-class expert at nutrition for long-distance racing already, and you don't need to work on that. Chances are you're not. I mean, some of the best pros, all of the best pros, screw up nutrition every once in a while. A lot of them do it frequently. And when you go long, you learn more about what you can eat, about how hard you can go up a hill. I mean, you just do it over and over and over and over again. So let's say you do it 10 times. Well, how much better would you be at it if you did it 100 times? And every time you climb a hill, every time you try to catch somebody, every time you go out for another workout, and you learn more and more about pacing yourself and how much to hold back, what actually works is. And so it's time on your feet, time in the saddle, time in the pool. Oh, I went swimming yesterday at a neighborhood pool. It was so freaking cold. I had to go bundle up and lay in a bed. I was wearing a jacket and a beanie hat under a comforter in a bed here in Texas. It was like 80 degrees outside. I was trying to warm back up. This pool was not heated, and it's still cold. Anyway, the more you do this stuff, the better you get at what actually works and learning your own body and when to hold back and when to push forward and what your own abilities are. You come to term with what your own abilities are. And what's crazy is the more you come to, this is your Zen moment here, the more you come to terms with your own abilities, well, then you do it. You hold back. Let's say you know that you're really a 200-watt cyclist and not a 210 or a 220. With enough riding, an example over and over again of it being shoved in your face that you are not a 220-watt rider, you're a 200-watt rider, or whatever nutrition, whatever the thing is, run form, whatever. then you do it smarter, you do it right from the beginning, and then because you have more energy in reserve and you haven't tapped yourself out, you can actually go longer, faster. How about that? All right, that's it for now. I got to eat. Out. Oh my God. I got a lot of crap to do right now. But quick. The past couple days, it's now a Wednesday morning. The past couple days, I felt a little bit overtrained. So I scaled way back. And I like Phil Maffetone saying that in his experience, all the athletes that he's ever trained, about 60% of them are overtrained. They've done too much. And so I'm running this morning. Well, I biked last night, easy. Ran this morning, really easy. Ran. And so I'm running really slow. And then what I noticed is more than heart rate, there's a feeling and a carbohydrate consumption that can tell you if you're in the fat burning zone. And so my bike ride last night, I biked for an hour and 10 minutes, I think. Beautiful ride on the Iron Baby course. And I posted a picture of that. And I hardly needed any fuel at all. Just drank water. I had like a couple of sips of a gel flask, and that was about it. And then my run this morning, I took Kona running with me, and he had to pee on everything, it seemed like. And same experience. Just nice, easy jog, and then barely had to eat any fuel at all because I was going nice and slow. And then what happens is after a little bit, the energy starts pouring on because your body's metabolizing fat, and it's happy. And just felt really nice. So anyway, I'm late. I got to go in. Out. Bang. Oh my God. Things just got crazy around here. So I mentioned that it's now a day later and I'm on my way to work. I mentioned that I wasn't feeling all that hot. And I don't know if I am sick, underfueled, undercarbed, whatever. I don't know what it is, so I'm not going to question it too much. So and my legs are sore. So I'm like, well, no training for a while, which is, emotionally like, a couple days. You got to fight that feeling of oh my gosh, I got an Ironman coming up and I'm not training. If you're sore, your body's actually working to make you stronger anyway. That's what that soreness is. It's your body rebuilding. And there's no point really working out that much. And then now, started overeating a little bit and then eating crappy food, which leads to the whole thing. Well, maybe I wasn't eating enough carbs. And, so that's why I didn't have enough energy and kind of felt under the weather. It's complicated. So you don't really know. And then 2 other things happened. Well, one, I got an email a while back, a few days ago, saying that Mevio was not really going under, but not going to host podcast stuff, right? So I uploaded the next show to SoundCloud. Wait, hold on, school zone, I gotta pause. Okay, I'm back. I uploaded my latest episode to SoundCloud.com. Created an account, uploaded it, and I like it. I like SoundCloud a lot. It's got this really cool embeddable player that's pretty. Even though it's going to cost a lot more money, it seems nice. And I went immediately from a free account to a expert account or whatever the next level up was, and then realized, man, I'm going to have to do a pro account. So I'm at their top level account because of the size of a podcast and the amount of downloads that y'all do. So there's that, right? Which is change. So it's a little stressful. And, because I worry about our show being uploaded and working right and all that other stuff. And so I'm not feeling good. I got to get this change and make sure that all works. It did work. I couldn't find, once I uploaded a file, it played on their page just fine and embeds just fine, but there was no actual MP3 link, a file. And so I linked to if you try to download it, it takes you to a page and starts downloading kind of like it's a file, even though it's not a true file. It was just a folder. And so I put that in the iTunes feed I was like, I guess this is the fault. And it worked. It started working for a day. Everybody was getting the show. It downloaded like 1,600 times to people. I was getting it on my phone and on my laptop. Everything seemed to work, right? And then all of a sudden, overnight last night, well, kind of medium late evening last night, as I'm not working out and I'm just kind of like feeling like crap, and I'm watching, can't remember the Workaholics, which is freaking funny, and sitting around and thinking about what to do next and how to feel better. I start getting all these tweets that the podcast isn't downloading all of a sudden, and so I start looking into it. And so I work in IT, and Zen and Yard Triathlon is one of the very first podcasts out there when you had to figure out how to do it all by hand, all by yourself. So I kind of know, and the reason I work in IT is, and with computers, is I kind of have a good feel for, I have good intuition with computers and how they work. And I've been doing it for 20 years, I guess. I don't know. But I'm waiting on this car here. We got a roundabout. It's very confusing to people. And this, in Texas, the file, I'm getting somewhere, okay? So we're talking a whole lot of meta crap. So anyway, the thing with computers is computers aren't actually the flaws in computers. Computers are just literal. They do exactly what you tell them. So when something doesn't work right, when you can't get a program to run right, when you can't get something to a feature to work, there's a bug or something like that, it's actually people that's the problem. So you have to, humans didn't do something that the computer's expecting, and the computer's just responding with an error or different. And you have to have an intuitiveness for what do you think. It's like being a computer whisperer when you work in IT. What is the computer trying to do, and what did somebody that interacted or people interacting with the computer think that it's trying to do, and where's... Oh, that was really, really nice. I'm in the swimming pool parking lot. Outdoor but heated pool. It's like the perfect temperature outside. It's like 70 degrees. Water was just right. And I swam with paddles about half the time. And I'm about to tell you why. I'm putting all my stuff in the rooftop box of my Nissan Xterra. They have that cargo box on top. Close it up. And putting the towel in the back seat here to kind of air out with the windows down back there whenever I park it. And let's drive home. It's in the evening. I swim in the evening after work. So I was watching this video interview with Clayton Fattel. And he's Australian, I believe. And he's pretty much the fastest swimmer in triathlon. He's like redonkulous. And he's he's pro caliber, so he's almost top of the fastest pros. But his swim is insane. And then on the bike he does pretty good, and then on the run, I don't know. But so basically the interview was, well, as a kid I swam, and there was a neighborhood swim team, and I swam on the swim team down the street from me, and I swam and swam and swam and swam, and then swam more, and they call it squads. He was on a swim squad growing up as a teenager, I guess maybe through college, I don't know. But anyway, it looked like they were interviewing him at Wildflower, like the Wildflower Lake was behind him, and I think it's called Lake San Antonio or something. But anyway, I'm hungry, I need to eat something. So they were asking some random questions. 60 to 75,000 meters per week, I think. It was just nuts. And that was growing up and as a teenager and maybe his early 20s. But anyway, he said now he doesn't have to swim very much at all. just a couple of surfing sessions, which really torque the arms pretty good, and then a couple of swims, and he's ready to go to swim, and then he knocks out these crazy freaking fast swims in triathlon, which really goes to show you how much swimming is a technique sport. And then also, if you get strong at one point in those muscles, you can regain strength in muscles really, really, really quickly. If once you were strong once, then you can get strong again really easily. And that's true. I used to lift weights a lot, so I could go back and get as strong as I used to be pretty quickly. But then increasing that strength over what I used to be is actually pretty difficult. That's a slow growth, because those muscle fibers aren't dormant. I'd have to create or expand. I'd have to create new growth, But reviving old growth is actually a lot easier. And that's my major complaint against dopers, is you use doping to get super freaking strong, and then now you, I haven't doped in a while. Well, you're going to easily return to that crazy freaking strength because you used artificial means to get that strength, and now you can get back to that pretty easily. Now you won't be able to train and everything as much, but you have this dormant strength that you got initially by doping, and you can get it back. But anyway, that's a tangent. So the whole point of what I'm saying is, the other interesting fact was, he said he swims with paddles, and they said, "Oh yeah, how much?" And he goes, "The whole swim." They go, "The whole workout?" "Yeah, paddles and bands," which means you tie your ankles together so your feet drag, and you have to work consciously to keep your feet up. And he said, "Yeah, the whole workout he does bands." And that really blew away the interviewer, and I was like, yeah, I could see that. It's like running with ankle weights, like you do it to get strong, and you get really, really used to it. You take off the ankle weights and you can pretty much freaking fly. So how about, I've got paddles, and I'm like, maybe I should try that. I hardly ever swim with paddles, and when I used to be really, really fast in high school, we used to do paddle workouts to make us stronger. And I'm like, I got paddles in my swim bag, I should try to use them. So I warmed up without them. I swam for an hour. I warmed up without them, and then after a while, put them on and swam 10 minutes with, and immediately I was like, oh, that burns really, really nice. And I was like, yeah, I could see how this, I need to be doing this. And then after it started burning pretty good, I decided, well, this is new to me. I haven't done this in a while, so I'll lay off the paddles for a little bit. So I swam 10 minutes without, and then 10 minutes after a while, I was like, okay, I could probably try it again. So I alternated 10 minutes with and 10 minutes without for the rest of the hour, and it was really nice. And then I combined that with my new infatuation with comfortable pace. So I just swam at a comfortable pace, because that's your fat burning zone, whatever you feels like your normal pace. And so I just swam like that, and then and I let the paddles, work out my arms. They increase, torque in your arms, and let it burn without you actually having to try anything. It just happens. So I was letting the paddle work be the intervals, and it does it without you really even trying all that much. And at the whole time, I'm increasing my my metabolic efficiency by swimming at a average, comfortable pace. It was really nice. And then earlier today, I got this crazy freaking email that I can't tell anybody about unless something happens or they tell me I can talk about it. But man, that was a shock, and it really made me. It was potentially good news, sort of news, but it could twist. I got an offer to do something. It could twist my life inside out if I accepted it, and it made me really think about where my life is and what I'm doing, and would I be good for that, and why would I, and if I accepted it, and the millions of unknowns of where that could lead, and then why would you take something that's so visible and risky? And but you only live once, so a little bit of adventure is kind of fun. Oh, and the baby bird, I think the baby bird's okay. I went home at lunch, and he was gone out of his nest. Dogs are still inside, and I went outside, surveyed the yard, couldn't find him. So I think he's free and flying and having fun. And then I let the dogs out, and I kind of supervised them. They cruised around the backyard, and I didn't see them notice anything. So I guess the bird had actually learned to fly and had taken off. How about that? And I fixed the link to the iTunes stuff, all in one fell swoop. So last night I went to bed completely stressed out because the podcast was messed up. Had big meetings at work in the morning I had to get to, and this baby bird that I need to take care of and help, or I should take care of and help. And I was completely confounded and on what to do. I was very stressed out. And this morning, just working through it, one thing at a time. Things came together. I just did the best I could. And my podcast was reborn, and my baby bird that might have gotten crunched by dogs last night managed to revive him and rebirth him into the woods for a second attempt at life. And so again, with him, I was worried the dogs were going to eat him because he couldn't fly yet. So I gave him a second chance, let him recoup overnight, put him back in safety, and then let him or her start flying again when there was no dogs around, and so he could really learn on his own without getting chewed up. So that's it. I got things to do. I think I'm gonna have a beer. Oh, I've got St. Arnold's, which is a brewery out of Houston. Alyssa is the ale, and it's pretty good. It's halfway malty, halfway hoppy. It's dark, and it's named after the tall sailing ship, the Alyssa, which is moored in Galveston. And I've actually been on that ship. I've never sailed on it, but when I was in Boy Scouts, we did a trip to Galveston Bay and stayed at the railroad museum overnight in railroad cars and Pullman cars, which was really cool. And then during the day, we worked on the Alyssa, cleaning it and shining the brass and learning about it and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It was a tall ship that over time, I think they did this to a lot of tall ships. The owners of it converted it to a steamship for a while. Tall ship is a sailing ship, like a 3-4 master. And, I don't know what class. There's like schooners and things like that. I don't know. I don't remember what it is, but they converted it to steam or coal and had paddle wheels on the side and all this other stuff. And then Galveston, the city tourism board, was looking for something to make Galveston kind of special. And they searched the world, this is like 30, 40 years ago, they searched the world around for a tall ship that had actually sailed to Galveston, and they found it dry docked in Italy or something, I think. And it was rusting away, and it was a mix of metal and Frankenstein with all kinds of different drive systems and stuff, because over the years it was converted and stuff. So it was rebuilt and refitted as by Galveston, the city of Galveston, as to its authentic original wooden sailing ship, and it does tours and sails around, and that's pretty cool, man. That this ale made out of Houston, and Galveston was the original port city, and then when it got wiped out by the mega hurricane, flattened the city, they moved the ports further inland, and that's how Houston itself became a city. Until Galveston got wiped out, Houston was pretty much nothing. And because of the fear of hurricanes and Galveston being gone, Houston popped up. So if you live in Houston, or you like Houston, or you know anything about Houston, you can thank this hurricane for wiping out Galveston. And that's what made Houston there. So, All right, that's it. I got to go. Out. Bang. All right, it is Friday. It's Good Friday. I have the day off from work, and I'm not in my car. And you can tell because my car doesn't have a toilet in it. I bet yours doesn't either, unless you drive around in an RV for some reason. Okay, I went on a bike ride this morning, a 2-hour ride, and felt really, really nice. And I have a couple of technical tips for you. And the first one is, if you have a shifting issue, my shifting's, I had the cabling replaced on my shifting, and with my new Zip Vuco return to center shifters, and with new cabling, the cables stretch like guitar strings do, for a few weeks during a few weeks of use, and so then the shifting settings get kind of off, and so you get it. Ghost shifting, and then not shifting, and then ghost shifting, and all kinds of crazy back and forth. And so you have to adjust your shifting, and you don't need to take it into the bike store to do this. And I have your typical shifting advice, but then I have something that a lot of people don't know. So I'm going to tell you this in a second. So pay attention. The first thing is, if you have a road bike, you might have a barrel adjuster up towards the top, but it's the little knob that you can twist on the cabling route. And if you have electronic shifting, then damn you, I hate you. But most of us don't have that. So at the rear derailleur, for example, there is a barrel adjuster, and if the easiest way to remember is if you want to make it so that it skips up to the next gear, like skips to the right easier, or you want it so it shifts to the left easier if you're standing behind the bike and looking down, the coolest thing is to remember is the top of the barrel. You turn it in the same direction that you want the chain to be more in, right? So if you want it to shift to the right, which would be a smaller cog, then the top of the barrel adjuster, where if you reach down and grab it, I'm doing that right now. Let's get a little bit of, there you go. So if I'm standing behind the bike and I reach down with my hand, and now my thumb is on the top of the barrel adjuster and my fingers are underneath it. If I want the chain to be a little bit more to the right, so it skips to the right a little bit easier and shifts up a little bit easier, then with my thumb, I twist the barrel adjuster to the right. So the top of the barrel adjuster, you turn that in the direction that you want it to go. So if I want it to be a little bit to the left, the rear derailleur, then I twist my thumb to the left, right? So the top of the barrel adjuster is which way you turn that is the same direction that the derailleur is going to go. And then I was searching around to find an answer to a problem I was having, even though I had it tuned exactly right and it was staying in the right gear, and then if I downshifted, it would shift crisp, and if I upshifted, it would shift crisply. If it describes a verb, then it's an adverb, and then, because shift is a verb, and then crisp would be describing the verb, so it's an adverb. So if it's an adverb, you add an ly to the end of it. So you don't shift crisp, you shift crisply. How about that? Raised by a grammar Nazi. Okay, so how are you doing? Good? You're not doing good, you're doing well. Okay, so then, sorry, squirrel. The shifting problem is, now let's say your drivetrain's kind of old. Mine's 7 years old. I've moved it through 2 bikes, right? I get a new frame. I keep the drivetrain. So I've got a rear derailleur that's 7, 8, 9 years old, right? And what happens is, as I get to the very end of the cassette and I want to put it into the highest gear, your fastest gear, actually it doesn't want to shift over to that. It's going, nah. But I'm like, well, what's the problem? Like it shifts between all the other gears just fine. But once it gets out to the end, it kind of goes, and it takes its time, clicking, 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 actually doesn't want to drop into that last gear. And it's really frustrating because everywhere else it's shifting just fine. I read a piece of advice on the interwebs that said older drivetrains, sometimes the spring that pushes it out all the way gets tired, and so it doesn't have as much spring to it as it used to. So it has a little bit of trouble getting out to that outermost gear. So adjust your limiting screws. There's 2 screws on the back of your derailleur, and one says H for high and one says L for low. Not hammer and low steam, but so what you do is you counterclockwise unscrew the limiting screw on the high just a little bit, and it gives it more room so the spring has less to fight against, and then bang, it'll pop into that higher gear, no problem. And I've done that, and it worked. It totally worked. All of a sudden, it started shifting into that highest gear, like just fine. So if your shifting's fine, except for that last gear, and it doesn't want to go into it, try letting out your limiting screw a little bit on the high side, the H. And I bought an Aero bottle in Arundel years ago, 2-3 something years ago, and it's white. And I've had problems during races and out on long training rides where it, because it's white, I actually don't know how much is left. And I promised myself after this last ride where I went through all my fuel was in this Aero bottle. And it's on my frame, it's frame mounted. And I went through my fuel too fast, and then I had a not fun run. And I'm like, dude, you spend all this time training, arguing with other people about training time, right? Missing things, missing family time. You're out training and training and training and training, only to mess it up on race day because of something stupid like you didn't know like how much fuel you've got left, right? It is really, really, when you think about it, it is really, really dumb to spend 10 to 20 something hours a week training and then mess it up on race day over something that's really, really fixable. That's a $20 fix. If time is money, the amount of money that you've sunk into training is crazy to not do something during the race correctly because of something that's easily fixable. So after this last race, I went online where my stomach was kind of upset on the run because I ate my fuel too fast because I couldn't see how much I'd been eating because the bottle is opaque and not clearish. So my fuel bottle. So I went online, ordered a replacement bottle, and got a clear one. It's like semi-clear, but you can see it's kind of whitish opaque. It's not totally clear, but you can see through the bottle easily like how much is left that you've drank. And I wanted to recommend this to everybody, that for your fuel and water bottles, for everything, if you have a choice, get clear. So you're at the bike shop and you're like, ooh, these bottles have cool logos on them. I need a new water bottle, Unless it's something that's insulated and you want it to stay frozen, then white opaque would be kind of smart, But everything else, if you have a choice, get clear. And then you'll know how much water you got left or how much fuel you've got left. And it seems to me like white opaque is white translucent seems to be the best because it's a mix of both worlds. White reflects a lot of heat, a lot of sunlight, so it won't get too hot, and then it's translucent so you can at least see your levels through it. And then I got something else that's going on. When I was in Spain for Strong Like Bull training camp, I had a tire come apart on me, and another guy at the camp, Todd, said that he he had a tire that he actually hated. That he lives in Northern California where it's really, really hilly, and he had a tire that that for whatever reason his brakes or something dragged against it, and he was worried about the sidewall coming apart. And especially in the high-speed descent and with a turn, he was worried it would blast apart on him, and that he'd give it to me. And this is really interesting, guys. So I said, "Oh, well, what is it?" And it's a Continental GP 4000, Grand Prix 4000S. Dude, seriously, this is what I normally ride in races because it's the fastest. It's the fastest clincher road tire out there, right? That's all around. Like, this thing's great, you know. And I said, no way, man. You want to get rid of that? And he's like, yeah, he just doesn't feel good about riding it. And I looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, I could see a little bit of sidewall wear. But it doesn't really concern me because where I train here in Texas, it's really hard to get up over like 35 miles per hour. I'm not really worried about the sidewall blasting apart on a high-speed descent because we don't have mountains here, you know? So I'm like, and then I'm looking into the future, and I'm like, well, I'm going to be riding a lot on the trainer too, so I'm going to tear it, you know, if it blows apart on the trainer, like, I don't care. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's put it on my bike. Then I noticed it's a 25 millimeter instead of a 23. It's actually a, did I just hear something drag? It's wider than normal, and a lot of elite triathletes put a wider rear tire on the rear because of it gives you a better ride quality. A fatter tire gives you a better ride quality, and because it's in the rear, it doesn't and if I'm already riding a disc in the rear, it doesn't mess with aerodynamics very much. It's the front where the aerodynamics of the tire is really critical. And if it's in the rear, it doesn't matter as much. And then because it's in the rear and your ass is sitting over it, you're going to feel the effects of a wider tire, a more comfortable ride, a lot better. And so I was gifted out of the blue with a top-of-the-line wider tire to put on my rear wheel, and so I jumped at it. I was like, cool. So actually, since Spain, I've been riding this thing, and I thought I'd tell you about what I noticed. I noticed nothing. This rides like any other tire, but it's kind of cool that I got it. So it's kind of like having a drag bike, you know, where the front wheels are skinnier than the rear. It might be better. I can't tell, but it's kind of cool that I got it. So who knows, right? So I'm just going to ride it. If I was to buy a whole new tire set again, I'd probably buy 23s and not 25s. Because after the rear starts wearing out, I swap them and I put the rear in the front and I put the front back on the rear. And so I'm alternating front to rear. And if they're different, I don't want to put a 25 in the front. I'd rather have a 23 in the front. But anyway, that's all I got. I know that's kind of crazy. So I got the day off. I'm going to actually do some work on my bike and clean it up and work on the aero bars a little bit, and I'll probably run this evening. So that's it. Out. Oh, I swam last night with paddles. Did I talk about that? Yeah, I already talked about that. All right, that's it. Out. Bing. Oh, hey, guys. I just finished an evening run, and I got some cool training advice for you, man. I've been trying something, and I thought I'd pass it on. Okay. I'm drinking one of those Alyssa beers. That's actually not that bad. Okay. First off, there was an article I read a while back, like a week or so ago, that I thought was fascinating. And I'm sorry if I've talked about it earlier, but I got to repeat what it said. It said, basically it was a running article, but it could be translated to swimming or biking. And it was, I forgot the gist of it, because what I'm about to tell you was kind of like a segue sideways, but it really caught my attention. So they were testing, like different fuels and people running and stuff like that, right? On treadmills and testing people and stuff. Okay. But the really important part, I'll get to it, is that the strongest correlating factor to someone's natural pace, right? They said, get on a treadmill and run whatever your natural pace is, whatever you feel like your natural pace, and like your God-given pace. Oh, that was the article, is why is some people's natural paces different than others, right? Okay, and then they tested all these different people, and all these different people have natural paces. So they were like, okay, does it correlate to threshold? No, it doesn't. And the whole point was, hey, it's mental. How hard you push is mental, right? Well, not exactly, because they did find a correlating factor. You're comfortable, what you perceive as your natural pace just happens to be, at most, the top end of your fat burning pace, right? Where you're still predominantly fat burning. So what's going on is your brain knows that if you go much faster, you're going to go into glucose burning, and you only have limited supplies of that. So your natural running pace is one that you can do all day, because it literally is one that you can do all day, right? So the recommendation was, well, and I'm kind of putting together things for maffetone and other things all into this. If you run at your what you feel is your natural pace, you'll actually get faster and faster, and your natural pace will actually get faster, because you'll get, and I'm saying, I think if you run at the top end of your natural pace, don't run at the slow end of your natural pace, but the top end, your body will adapt and go, a little bit faster, and it's not a shock to the system. And it's in your fat burning zone, so your efficiency, basically what you're doing is figuring out how to run economically faster at your fat burning pace. At your fat burning effort level, right? Okay, so I was out running, I was biking this morning and then running this evening at what I just felt like was I settled into what was my natural pace, and then I would try to see if I could accelerate it a little bit kind of here and there, but that's it, right? And what was really cool was I felt, especially this evening run, is I really felt like I could bike or run like all day. I could just keep going and going and going. And at first it feels like maybe you're not getting a good workout, but after about half an hour or so, you can feel the fatigue setting in. You can tell that it's working your muscles. It's definitely a workout, and it's definitely going to improve you. And I think it's like fantastic training for Ironman pacing, long distance pacing for yourself to realize. Oh, and the thing is the longer I went, actually I started I could tell that my body was kind of subconsciously doing little things to get faster at that comfortable pace. And actually, I kept thinking, like the first word that comes to mind, I was thinking about this when I was running, like telling you all, like, how do I describe this? I wouldn't call it comfortable. I'd call it natural. Your natural pace. You, listener, right now in your car, If you went out running, Bob, I'm talking to you. If you went out running right now and you were told, hey, you got to run like 2-3 hours, doesn't matter how fast you go, really, like how fast would you gotta file papers when you get to the end. It's not that exciting at the end, you just gotta run. What's your natural pace? You're not racing, just what's your natural pace? And then that way you view it more as like it's like your current ability, Now run at barely the top end of that natural kind of ability. Don't think about it too much, and your body will start cheating itself to go with that natural ability just a little bit faster every time, every minute, every hour, every workout, And one thing I want to make really, really clear is in Zen, there is no really right or wrong. There's two things. There's intention, like did you mean to be mean or rude, or were you accidentally rude? You shouldn't feel too bad if you didn't intend to be, a jerk or hurt somebody or whatever. If it was more of an accident. And then it's all in the intention, and then there's no sin. It's all, did you mean to steal? And then the other one is, you can look into that. That's a whole other podcast from a while back. Okay, but the other one is viewpoint. Okay, so the universe is going on as is, right? It's just physics. And chemistry and hormones and whatever, the sun doesn't care how many times the earth flies around it before the sun swallows it up. Everything's just physics. It doesn't matter. Okay. But if you notice, some people are having a happy day while other people are freaking miserable about the exact same thing, right? If I gave you a new car and it was a Ford Mustang, some people would be like, wow, that's really cool. And then people who hate Ford and like Chevys would be like, oh, well, that kind of sucks, right? So everything's a viewpoint, right? It's perception. It's your angle of view and it's you get these viewpoints from your experiences in life, Somebody likes Chevy instead of Ford because their parents like Chevys and told them that Fords suck, If they were raised in a family that told them that Fords are awesome, they'd be exactly opposite. That's why people in China, are one religion and people in America are another. It's all, what your parents told you, honestly. Okay, so then, anyway, sorry, tangent. If you're trying to get somewhere with your training and something's not working right, there's a really good chance that it's your view. And if you can get a different viewpoint that actually works for you, that changes your perception of what you're doing and makes you behave differently, then use it, right? So if running at what we would call a natural pace, for me it really, really works. It's a different viewpoint, right? I'm going to just run at my natural pace. And based on science, the more I run at my natural pace, actually the faster I'll get. Natural pace. Now, if I say comfortable pace, my viewpoint on that is, well, that sounds lazy, right? But if I say natural pace, well, I'm kind of a hippie, so I'm like, all right, natural, man. And then that works for me, right? And you can, whenever you're trying to do something, and you're having a little bit of difficulty getting it done, try reframing it, rephrasing it, looking at it from a different viewpoint until it actually rings with you in a way that you like to do. So in Zen, when a lot of times, these Zen stories, somebody will come to a Zen master and say, I'm very upset about this, or I don't get this. And the Zen master basically, or frequently, says, wrong view. You have wrong view. The facts are still the same, but your perception of the facts is actually wrong. So I'm really wrong. I'm really mad at this guy because he said on the forum that he's special and that blah, blah, blah. Now I'm really mad. And it's like, well, one of you has the wrong view. Should you waste your time with a guy on the forum? Or should this guy think that he's special? One or the other, It's all viewpoint. If it's an opinion and it's not just physics and facts, then it's a viewpoint. And you can twist that viewpoint to meet your needs. Like when somebody gets elected president, half the country's just destroyed, like, oh my God. And then the other half is like, hey, yay, They're all humans, so what's the difference? It's viewpoint. Everything you think is an illusion. Anyway, along with that, I was reading a different article about fueling and nutrition, and there was a study where they put people on a treadmill and ran them, and they did 2 different kinds of pre-workout fueling. They figured out that if they gave the athletes more of a fat-based meal than just a straight carb-based meal, that they actually ran farther after the meal settled. It was like 2 hours after the meal. After the meal settled, they actually ran farther before fatigue. What was interesting is they still needed to eat the same amount of carbs during the workout, but the fat-based meal fundamentally changed their metabolism over the next few hours. And so when they started off on the workout, the body was happy and, happy metabolizing fat and doing all right. And the people that had eaten the carb-based meal, probably their insulin spiked and then crashed. And then now they're really running on fumes and eating the same amount of carbs as the other people. The fat-based people worked kinda, but the fat-based people were able to go 10 more minutes before fatigue. So they went an hour and 10 minutes, and the carb-based people went an hour, right? Before they said they felt like crap. So this is not fueling with fat during the workout. It was actually pre-workout snacking or eating to get the body, burning fat. So on ZenTri, we sell hornet juice, which is a fat metabolizing protein powder that you can take, they recommend, a little bit before your workout to kind of get the body metabolizing fat, right? So there you go. And I love this hornet juice stuff. It really works. And then you can get that hornet juice, actually, and it really helps support the show. We just up the bandwidth costs. So it's on the right side, I think, of zentriathlon.com. And then so before this workout tonight, I was kind of hungry, and I was like, well, I shouldn't eat just straight carbs because I want to try this fat burning thing. So I was like, I have coconut oil in the pantry, so I ate like a little bit of coconut oil, and I'm kind of like, that's not sustainable. That just tastes, I mean, it's okay, but it's not like all that exciting. And I'm like, what would work? And I was kind of looking around the kitchen, and then I saw peanut butter. And I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. So a lot of you are like already nodding your head like, duh. And I ate a spoonful of peanut butter, which is really high in fat, and it's got a little bit of protein and carbs in it, and but really high in fat. And waited about 15 minutes and then went out for a run, and then had this fantastic freaking run where I just felt like I didn't start off the run going, oh my God, I need energy, and my blood sugar's all like wonky all over the place because I was hungry, and then I ate straight carbs, and then I like a gel, and then like skyrocketed and then crashed again. All right. Kona went running with me. Hey buddy, what's up? Hey, you want to let people hear you pant? It was just beautiful weather. Here you go. How about that? He's happy. All right. We're going to record a training log for the rest of this weekend. It's a 3-day weekend, and I got lots going on. It's kind of fun, so stay tuned. Out, Bing. All right. I had an epic bike ride this morning that I got to tell y'all about. But first, I got to take a quick shower. I have pollen allergies, and 3 weeks ago, I forgot to take my shots for about 2 weeks in a row. and I got busy, and now my skin's all itchy. I got my shot this week, but it's going to take me a little bit to catch back up. And it's just scratching myself until I bleed. So one trick, you pick up a ton of pollen. If you've got hay fever or allergies or whatever, this is a good trick. Especially when you go out on a bike ride, you pick up a ton of pollen all over your body, and then it doesn't seem to itch so bad while you're riding, but when you stop, somehow, for whatever reason, it settles into your skin and just gets itchy, itchy, itchy. So as soon as you get done with a ride, one thing, obviously, is you got to get out of your cycling shorts. And then the next thing is, where'd my coffee go? The next thing is rinse off, and soap if you want. Where'd my coffee go? With to get all the pollen off of you, because it's a mess, man. And then you'll be happy quick before you get all itchy. Another thing that happened, I got a bunch of things, is my power meter just died about 2/3 of the way through the bike ride. And it wasn't reading out anything. No cadence, no power, nothing. And that is why it's really important to train by feel a lot of the time. Is you never know when your gear is going to conk out, and now you're riding solo without a co-pilot to tell you what to do. So you need to know what to do and what things feel like. I remember Ironman Wisconsin. My power meter died as soon as I got on the bike. It ran for a few minutes and then conked out. And I still did 12:59, and that was one of my earlier Ironmans, like my third Ironman or something like that. And Wisconsin's a rough course. I think the shower's about hot enough now. I'm not gonna take you in there with me, but yeah, it's another thing is for cami cream, to keep from your crotch from getting all blistered up and ingrown hairs and all that crap and saddle sores. Emily is a nurse. I told her I was trying to find Skin Sake, and she said because they carry it in a lot of stores in big cities, but College Station doesn't seem to have any, so I was gonna have to order it on the internet. And she said, why don't you use Lantiseptic? And because she has some, because she's a nurse. And I was like, what's that? And Lantiseptic, Lanti, Lantiseptic is, it comes in a little white screw top container that's wider as it is tall, than it is tall. And the first ingredient in it is beeswax. And I think that's the first ingredient. Well, lanolin. It's 50% lanolin. And then immediately after that, it's beeswax. I got to tell you, I used this stuff for the first time yesterday, and I was so blown away that this morning I paid more attention when I put it on and rubbed it between my fingers. It's really weird. This stuff is it's like Teflon. When you put it on your skin, it makes your skin like slippery, like nothing wants to stick to it, which is awesome. And so I highly recommend it. Like I put on some of that as a base coat on my crotch, right? And then I grabbed some Noxema and tried to put that on top of it. The Noxema wouldn't stick to anywhere where I put the Lantiseptic. It was crazy. I was like, man, that's really, really good. Okay, when I come back, I'm going to tell you about a cadence and muscle thing that I figured out while riding that really upped the performance on today's bike ride. So I'll be right back. Out. All right, I'm back. I'm spotless. No more pollen. Okay. Something I realized, I was saying earlier that when you do a ton more volume at your natural pace, your body ends up figuring out a way for you to go even faster and faster. Little mechanical things like leverage things and different angles of attack. different things that make the same pace easier and a faster pace doable, right? Okay, so and you discover these things by just volume and volume and volume. You try different things all the time, and then you toss out the things that don't work, and you keep the things that do work. You don't even know you're doing it. But just think about it, like how much more efficient you are at walking today than you were when you were learning how to walk as a little kid, right? You just learn to be more and more efficient. Okay, so there's and then with 10,000 hours, right, you get really good. So one thing that's really frustrating is when you talk to somebody that's a really good athlete, cyclist or runner, swimmer, and you're like, how are you so fast? They're like, I don't know, I just train, whatever. It's like, just trained a lot and I got faster and faster. And well, their technique's better, is more efficient. But how did they figure it out, Okay, so last night I was listening to Trail Runner Nation podcast. And they were interviewing a guy. He's a colonel in the Air Force, probably retired, and he owns a running shoe store in West Virginia. And he's kind of famous because he's a minimalist shoe advocate, and that's whatever. So, by the way, go back to really really old episodes. I used to run barefoot all the time. So then he was saying, the foot is fine the way it is, so it's got natural levers and everything in it, and you just need to do more, and you figure out how to use it better, but within reason, so you don't injure yourself. And the muscles, he was talking, I was kind of, it was late last night, so I was kind of in and out, and I was overfeeding the neighbor's dog and whatever, but I caught something that he said, where he said, muscles are actually stronger if you hyperflex first out before you contract. And I was like, huh? And then he said, try breathing out real hard. What's the first thing you do? You breathe in to expand the muscles, to stretch them out, and then you breathe out really hard. Okay, so you try this. Try breathing out hard first without breathing in first to hyperflex your muscle, right? If you're going to punch a punching bag, you don't start with your muscle like half-cocked. You rear back and hyperflex your muscle and then punch, right? And that allows you to punch harder. If you're throwing a javelin, like you stretch your arm and your wrist so far back behind you that it's stretched, and then as you contract, it's apparently stronger when you do this, right? Okay, so I was listening to that, and while I'm out on this 3-hour bike ride, like about 45 minutes to an hour into it, I'm riding along, and I'm like, I'm going to try something. Or I'm going to put into use something that I've noticed. I've been noticing this. The more volume I've been doing, I've been noticing that if you work with your ankles a little bit, you can flex your leg up. So your knee's higher, you point down with your toes, and then your knee comes higher. And then what it does is it kind of hyperflexes your hamstring up. So then when you press down, it's stronger. And then when it's down, you hyperflex your ankle. Well, you roll your ankle and heel down so that your quad is flexed out a little bit more. Your quad? Your glute? I don't know, whatever it is. And then when you pull up, you're pulling up from a hyperflexed down, and that's stronger, right? And the first thing I notice is your cadence goes down because this is new and you're kind of making a longer stroke with your hand. Right now I'm doing my hand. Remember Karate Kid, wax on, wax off, right? So you go up with the wrist and you flex the wrist and then pop it back. And like if you're popping a whip, you rear back first and then you pop the whip, right? So what I noticed was at first your cadence slows down and that's not all that good. But with just a little bit of practice, you get the movement down so that the ankle starts doing it faster and faster. Now you're back up to where your regular cadence was, but now you're hyperflexing your muscles a little bit more. I don't know if hyperflexing is the right word, but you're counterflexing your muscles a little bit longer so that when they come down or when they contract, they're actually stronger, right? And this is back when my power meter was still working earlier in the ride. And I noticed the power numbers went up, right, at the same heart rate and same cadence, and then that flex action was actually resting the muscle a little bit, so it was actually like really sustainable. And I was sitting there going, this is one of those things that people that are really, really good don't even know that they're doing. So they don't even know how to communicate it to you. They don't ever talk about it, like how to get more power out of your stroke, right? So I thought I had to tell everybody. And then I remember the shoe guy on the Trail Runner Nation show was talking about, if you use your legs right, they're talking about running. If you use your legs right, you open up your hip angle more, and you get more extension and all. And I'm like, yeah, because you're flexing out a little bit more. You get used to doing it, and then you're able to use it, and it makes you stronger. And then I have this image in my mind of there's photos online of Kenyan kids, Ethiopian kids, or kids in Africa running, right? And it's like 8 years old, right? Running down a dirt road, because they're running to school, they're running, they're just running around. And the hip flexing on these kids, like the angle between the foot that was out in front of them was like his thigh was like parallel, and he's just jogging, right? He was just jogging in the background behind this guy that was being interviewed. So it's just an average kid, right? That wasn't even the focus of the video or of the picture. This kid's just running behind, just running to his friend's house, hut, whatever. And so he's like, his thigh is parallel to the ground, his leg out in front of him, and then the leg that's behind him is nearly parallel to the ground, right? Because his leg is stretched out so much. And he's just jogging, and I was like, man, you take an American kid or American grown-up runner, and our legs are so close together, But what these kids are doing is they're running so much. They got 10,000 hours of running by, whatever age, that they've learned to stretch out like that and then use that flexion to bounce back. They're like really, really used to it. Hold on a second. All right, I'm back. I was checking to make sure the pool was open today. I'm going to go swim. So I posted a picture a few days ago of Starkowitz biking and commented on, it was his bike position, mid-race, on how high his knees came up and his torso is really low. So it's like his knees are coming to his chest, right? And because these guys can get really low in the front end, but yet the knees are really high. Those guys like the fastest or one of the fastest cyclists. Don't tell him I said one of the fastest. He's the fastest, okay? Cyclist in triathlon, and he's bringing that leg up super high, so the hyperextension of the hamstring is helping create the extra force on the way back down. It's really, really cool when you think about it. And anyway, I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just saying when you're out cycling and you're going at your natural pace, see if you're using that ankle to extend, to both shorten and extend your leg length, so that you get this pop with your leg, so that it's more like a whip as you whip up and down to get more force out of what you're doing. And again, think about this. Before you breathe out, if you're going to breathe out really hard, you have a breathe out test, which actually when you take your allergy shots, they want you to breathe out into a device that measures how strong your lungs are today. Because if your allergies are acting up, you get a little bit of asthma and you can't breathe so hard. Well, the first thing you do is you take a huge breath in to flex out to elongate the abdomen muscles, your diaphragm. And then you breathe out. So imagine that you got good enough at this, you're 10,000 hours, so that it's just as fast as somebody that is not practicing doing it without, right? So that your cadence is still nice and high, but you get this extra force. And then there's your missing power, your missing watts that make you faster. You're missing miles per hour. When somebody that's like crazy fast, isn't trying any harder than you are. You're all trying the same. I remember coaching people in the pool that are terrible swimmers, and they're like, I just wish I could swim faster. I'm like, listen, if your goal is health, you're working out just as hard as anybody else. Don't worry about so much about how fast you're going. You'll get faster over time. It's exertion that's the workout. So somebody that's like crazy fast isn't trying any harder than you are. You got to remember that. They're just better at it. They're more efficient at doing it. And it's all the same amount of willpower, same amount of force. It's just they've figured it out a little bit. So all you got to do is you got to start figuring it out. So it's these little things that add up. All right, that's it. I'll be back later. Bing. Well, that was a crazy swim workout. I did 1 hour. Y'all aren't going to believe this. I did 1 hour with paddles. Oh, there goes my water bottle. And bands. A band around my ankles. So I did the Clayton Fattel workout. And actually, it was both hard and easy. It was easy because it was very entertaining because it was hard. So the hour actually went by pretty fast, and I thought incorrectly that I'd be pretty good at swimming with a band. Band around your ankles is, I tied a handkerchief around my ankles. That's just what I happen to have. And it worked. It actually worked really well. And but because you can't kick, your feet sink. But like I can swim with a styrofoam pull buoy between my legs, like no problem whatsoever, and swim just almost as fast or just as fast as I swim without. So I figured I'd be fine, and that my feet wouldn't drag all that much. I'd be like, man, I'm a good swimmer. This won't be any problem at all. Man, was I wrong. My feet sank straight to the bottom. And there's a video online where this guy is giving advice on how to do it. And he said, swim downhill with your press down with your upper body. Point down with your head. Just get swimming downhill and your legs will come up. So I kept doing that. And yeah, I mean, the more I did it, the better I got at it, And then with the paddles on your hands, it just increases the resistance that you're trying to pull with your arms, like by 3 times as much, maybe 10 times as much. I mean, it's really crazy. But if you remember, I swam a couple of swims ago or a swim ago about 30 minutes with it, alternating 10 minutes with and 10 minutes without. So today when I did a full hour, I was smarter, from the experience of doing that and knew how to not blow up. And I really, really, really like it. I love resistance training. And it was interesting. And I was doing bilateral breathing the whole time, too. So this is the trifecta nuclear weapon in swimming is bilateral breathing with hand paddles, with an ankle band on. And if you can do that, man, holy crap. And I'm not saying I was very good at it, but I was figuring it out. And then when I took it off, I swam a couple laps after I was done with it off just to kind of see what it was like without it. And yeah, my position had changed, man. I was faster. For sure. I was swimming more downhill, legs up. So it's definitely a real thing. So I also wanted to mention that. Oh, don't do that. Don't do what I just did unless you're a very experienced swimmer that's been doing like bodybuilding stuff. And so you're really, really strong up there. That's a really good formula for injuring your shoulders or your elbows, is what I was just doing. Because it's cool and it's fun and you can feel it, but then you end up doing too much of it and then you get hurt. Anyway, so freestyle swimmers have lots of shoulder injuries from throwing their arms really, really hard. I've even got one. I got a slap tear, SLAP, as an acronym for something. But anyway, the other thing I forgot to mention was that what did I do? Oh, for breakfast this morning, before my bike ride, my really nice bike ride that I had, what did I have? Well, first I got up and I had Ezekiel cereal, which is a really, really whole grain, like majorly whole grain cereal with whole milk. It's got a little bit of fat in it, a little bit of extra fat in it. Had that, and I do the cinnamon raisin. That's my favorite. And then, what did I do? After that, kind of farted around the house, having a cup of coffee and whatever. And I had to go over to feed a dog, my brother-in-law's dog. And I came back to the house, and then I'm like, okay, it's still dark. And I'm like, okay, time to get ready for your bike ride. You're kind of hungry now. Because I just had like a small to medium-sized bowl of cereal. And then I'm like, I'm going to do this, make sure before my big workout that I have a meal with plenty of fat in it. And so I did 2 scrambled eggs, and I put guacamole. And guacamole's crazy high in fat, and it's really good for you. It's got lots of fiber in it, and it's a veggie. It's a fruit, maybe. Avocado is actually a fruit because it's got a seed inside. But anyway, a lot of fat. And I mixed it in with the scrambled eggs. I did 2 scrambled eggs in a ceramic mug and nuked it in the microwave. And then what happens? The fat in the guacamole kind of helps keep it from sticking to the sides of the cup a little bit. There goes my water. And then what happened? Oh, and then when it was done, I let it sit for a minute, and then to help cool it off, I dumped a ton of salsa on it. And there's your carbs, really healthy because it's all fruits and veggies and stuff. Lots of salsa. And then I snacked on, I don't even remember, whatever. And then right before I walked out the door, about 10 minutes before I got on the bike, maybe 15 minutes before I got on the bike, I ate a big spoonful of peanut butter. And then I had this fantastic bike ride. So, I don't know, maybe there's something to it. But anyway, that's it. I'm going to swing by Freebirds and get a burrito for a late lunch. All right, out, bang. All right, I'm back at the house. We're going to do a little beer review, but let's see. Hey, kitty, what's going on? All right, Suji's all right. Okay, and then we need to let the dogs in. Hey, come on. What's up, freaks? Oh, my God. Woo! How was it out there? How was it? Okay. Oh, my God. It's freaking great. All right, we have for us, for our beer review, where I drink a beer and I tell you whether you should go out and waste your time on it, because there's so many beers out there now. I'm your guinea pig. Sam Adams Rebel IPA. India Pale Ale, it's IPA. And Rebel, not sure why it's called Rebel. Maybe I should read the box. But anyway, and then in subtext it says West Coast Style. So 6.5% alcohol by volume. That's kind of neat. But let's see. It's red and white label. Where's my Sunto bottle cap opener? Here we go. There we go. And let's taste it. Oh, that's good. That is a usable ale. All right, let's see what the box says. Yeah, that's nice and hoppy. Does not say anything about it. Let's see. On the label, it says Rebel IPA is brewed with 5 varieties of West Coast hops. Cascade, Simcoe, not sure what that is. Centennial, Chinook, and Amarillo. It's everything. It's everything? It's everything. Okay, so I guess you could say I did a tour with Drew from Bend, Oregon, of the Deschutes Brewery in Bend, Oregon, and that was really, really interesting. And West Coast ales, they do like to be more hoppy flavored, and there's a distinct taste between East Coast and West Coast, and so I guess some of it has to do with the actual types of hops, the species. I guess, is it a species of hops that are in there, and you can choose. And then if you choose ones that are grown out on the West Coast, then that's what you get. So let's put this in a thermos, and I'll be back. It's nice, man. I'm gonna have this beer ale, and then relax for a little bit, do some coaching, and then we're gonna go for a run with Kona. Right, buddy? What's up, dude? What's up? All right, out, Bing. All right, I went for an evening run, an hour and 8 or 9 minutes, and had something really interesting happen. And now I'm watching a UFC fight while I'm drinking a beer, and it's Travis Brown. This is heavyweight. Travis Brown versus Fabricio, I think. It's really interesting. These guys are so huge. Roxy, these guys are so huge that they burn so much calories and generate so much heat with every move. They move a lot slower, but every move is way more powerful. So it's really fascinating to watch the difference in body size and the economy of movement that you have to consider when size is a factor. And you consider that in triathlon. And, lightweights can just move so fast and just cruise. And then big, heavy people have to be more conservative and a match I was watching a while back, they commented on, it looks like they're moving slow, but there's so much power behind the big guys' kicks and hits that they're burning a lot of calories just to do that. And they're showing in slow motion. And it's fascinating watching, when you think about running and being an overweight, and sometimes not even overweight, just a big guy or girl, and the extra energy it takes to do that and how that wears on you. So anyway, I was running. This is the last round, just started. And something in my Freebirds burrito I noticed before I started running. Kona, cut that out. I noticed before I started running that I was having gas. I was farting. And it was weird. And I'm thinking it was something in my burrito, because it started happening before I even started running. And then getting ready to go run, and just the tiniest bit hungry before I run, so I ate a spoonful of peanut butter for that fat burning, and then I got my running stuff together, and then took off for a jog. And as I was running, it was an hour and 8 minutes, and the further I got into my run, and I'm fueling on, I got gel and honey poured into a gel flask, and I just kind of sip on it as I run, and drinking water out of a flask. And the longer I run, the more my stomach gets tight, and it just starts to hurt, and then it got so painful towards the end that I was almost not really, but kind of felt like I was going to pass out. I was starting to get lightheaded from the pain. And then also I wasn't able to fuel after a while, after about 45 minutes, because I didn't want to eat anything because my stomach hurt so bad. And so then towards the very end, I was running on fumes and my heart rate started dropping. And I still had a good run, and I was still okay because I knew that it was going to end soon. And I knew what I was going to do hopefully going to do to fix it, after my run was over. But this goes to show, mine was induced by a burrito, okay? Which is, but a good lesson in what happens when your stomach starts to hurt and then you can't eat and then you start running out of gas. And man, I hope Travis Brown wins. I like him. He's cool. He's got a big beard. I've never seen somebody take so much abuse and still just be looking fine. God, the other guy's popping him in the face. You can hear it smack when he hits him in the face. Whew. Anyway, so let's say my bike and my run were really far apart, 4 or 5 hours. And so it's not really the fuel I had on the bike. But you can see how if you're doing a half Ironman or an Ironman, you're going long, and your stomach starts to hurt because your fueling gets off, and then you can't fuel anymore. You start running on fumes, and then you have pain, and you have to start walking, right? Which is a really bad thing. So mine was artificially induced by just everyday food in my daily meal, not actually, my bike ride. My bike ride was fine. I finished that feeling fine. But mine was burrito induced. But anyway, when I got back to the house, I did a trick that actually works really well, and I've done it actually in the middle of a run where my stomach hurt really bad. It doesn't look cool, but you get down on your hands and knees, put your ass up in the air, and put your face down on the pavement. In my case, on the carpet, which was full of dog hair, which was annoying. And then after just a minute or two, the gas tries to go up, and then you fart it out, and then you feel a whole lot better really quick. And this is stomach pain, makes your stomach feel tight, makes you like you don't want to eat or drink anything because it just hurts. It's just like it's a physical pain. You wonder if your belt's too tight or something like that. And so I went from feeling lightheaded and almost nauseated to feeling fine with a few farts after I know it sounds gross, but whatever. After having my ass up and my face down, sounds like a rap song, and letting some gas out. So you can imagine, let's say you're doing an Ironman, it's a 10-hour, 11-hour, 12-hour, for some of us 15, 17-hour race. Your stomach starts to hurt. It is worth it to spend 3 minutes to let the gas out. I'm not sure what to do, like go hide behind an aid station because it's, oh man, Travis Brown lost. He's going to lose. The match is over. The other guy just beat him. Wow, that guy was really badass that beat him. I still got to go over to let the dog in. Anyway, so imagine your stomach hurts, you can't fuel or anything, and you're like, I gotta keep going. Well, no, stop. And sometimes even walking will let the gas out, make you feel better. And then, because you're not bouncing as much, let your stomach relax. I've noticed that too. And kind of resets your stomach. So anyway, big day today. So 5+ hours, 5 hours and 8 or 9 minutes. 3-hour bike ride, 1 hour swim with paddles and ankle strap the entire way. And then a 1 hour plus run. So it was nice. It's very, very nice. All right. out. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Oh, I got to replace the battery in my my power meter. That's going to be fun. Out, Bing. Oh, man. Okay, so it's Sunday morning. It's really foggy outside. I already went and fed the dog down the, it's about 3 miles from here, and fixed my power meter. So yesterday's bike ride, it just stopped working. It would find it, but it wouldn't give me cadence or power. So I found the special tool. I have a power tap, which is a rear hub G3, I guess. Anyway, I last night at the grocery store, I bought a new battery, 2032. I bought 4 of them, and I keep them in a drawer. I was out, and this morning put it on, and well, yesterday when I was trying to make it work, I recalibrated, and the calibration number was insane. Like, it was really weird, and so and then it still didn't work, and then I took the rear wheel off and put the new battery in this morning. I had to find the tool, all that crap, and to get the hub cover off, and then put it in, and then it started seeing cadence. I put it on the trainer and started pedaling around, and then it saw cadence, but the power number was still 0. So then I recalibrated, and then it found it. So and it's reading power. So I'm actually pretty stoked. So we got that. Got that going. All right. Bang. I forgot to mention, to tell that the old battery was actually dying, I have a battery meter, just a cheap one. And it read on the edge of needing replacement. So if you got a power tap. And also, I didn't ride it overnight. So batteries kind of recharge themselves kind of a little bit for a little burst right when you first start using them. So it can be kind of misleading. So it's actually less power than what you think, and then compared it to a new battery, and the new battery was like really healthy. So that's how I knew. And then also, over the past few days, I've lost like 3 or 4 pounds, which maybe half a pound of that is body weight, and then the rest of it's water weight. So I'm starting yesterday. I've started adding sea salt to more foods, and trying to go out of my way to drink more water. You get all excited because you're losing weight. Well, a lot of that's dehydration, and it's going to mess you up. There's no healthy way to lose weight that fast. For those that care, 6'3", 172 point something pounds. But again, that's dehydrated. I probably should weigh about 175 right now. All right, out, bang. Stacy's mom has got it going on. All right. 3.5 hour bike ride done. Let's go let the dogs in from out back. My rear bottle cage holder exploded all over the road. I'm glad it broke now instead of during the race. Bolts came loose, and I've lost part of it. And then I hid the bottle cages and the mount thing, the arms, in some bushes. I got to go back and get it. And what we're going to do now is, hey babies, how you doing? Is run. I'm going to take a second and kind of gather myself for a second. Put on some running shoes and do a brick run. Not exactly for the workout of it. Brick runs aren't really all that useful. Once you already know it's going to hurt and then the hurt goes away, then that's not the big deal. But I want to test my fueling and see if I freaking puke all over the place. Because after about hour 2 hours and 15 minutes in, 2.5 hours in, I got a booger. I started to fade, and so I upped my fuel intake just a bit, and then started feeling a whole lot better. But now I'm like, okay, so I know I gotta eat more. Now can I run off this? And this is a really good test because for an Ironman run, because I biked a ton yesterday and ran and swam. And now this 3.5 hour bike ride, I'm feeling at the end of this easily like I've done 112. I did about 70, I think. But my legs are fatigued and such. And now I'm going to run. I'm probably going to run the half-mile loop that goes around my house and come back. I figured I was going to run inside on the treadmill, but I'm like, no, I'll run outside and get a really good simulator. And then I got a nice cold beer in the fridge for when I'm done. And then I got to go in my car and go drive out there and go find the rest of my rear bottle cage holders that I buried like a bone. Good ride, though. Very, very good ride. What was my... let's look at my averages. I had to stop a few times to... that ruins your average a little bit. To, pick up my bottles and everything. It's on auto pause, but still the slowing down and the 70.7 miles. 20.2. Not bad. For windy, and I'm not riding with my Aero front wheel right now. It's a long story. And non-Aero helmet, and lots of drag from my jersey, flapping everywhere. I'm wearing a regular cycling jersey, and I got stuff all hanging out of the back and sides. Especially after my my bottle cage exploded, I had to take the 2 bottles, 1,400 feet of ascent. That's very Ironman Texas-y, and average of 122 heart rate. And average watts 213, max 445. I guess when I did something, I don't know what I was doing. Yep, good ride. It's 11:44 in the morning. Okay, I'm going to put this down so I can start getting my act together. Out, bang. Hello. Oh, there we go. All right, I got to turn on the fan. Almost half hour run done. Really good numbers. Well, not really, really good, but good enough. I planned on running half an hour, but I was running fast enough where I ran out of road, so I just finished early. So about 27 and something minutes, almost 28 minutes. I averaged an 8:37 pace, 7 miles per hour. And I'm actually pretty happy with that. Of course, I'd love to run faster, but that's not bad. Because I started thinking about while I was running, I felt fine. I did 3 hours on Friday, 5 hours. So 3 hours on Friday, 5 hours on Saturday, and that run was capping off 4 hours on Sunday. So you're talking 8 plus 5, 8 plus 4. I mean, 12 hours in 3 days, and of training, and so it was really a test of fueling to make sure that what I ate was actually usable on the run, and it wasn't going to make me sick like I got sick in at Galveston, where I couldn't run like I wanted to because my stomach was all upset. It wasn't quite long enough to be a real test, but it was pretty good. Like, I liked what I was feeling, and for a moment, I started feeling like a little bit upset stomach, and I just kind of backed off the pace and drank more water, and that helped. And if you listen to the last podcast, the Galveston episode, I felt like I didn't drink enough water, and that's what was keeping my fuel in my gut and making it hurt. So today's bike ride, drank a ton more water, and I ate salt pills. And I have a tip for you. You can do all this, Endurolites and, electrolytes and get real complicated with it and pay a ton of money. Or you can just get thermotabs. And thermotabs are not marketed to triathletes. They're marketed to, old people and just your average person. So you don't have the 500% markup that you get for 5,000% markup that you get for triathlon. If it's got aero, if you can associate it with aero bars, then all of a sudden the price just skyrockets because they figure we're all rich. And anyway, so hold on, I'm scratching my eyes. I took a cold shower and rinsed all the pollen off already and opened up a beer. And so thermotabs are electrolytes. It's mostly salt, and I think it's got a little bit of something else in it, but nothing crazy. And they come in like a pill. And on today's bike ride, you could do the same thing. I put them in a little Ziploc bag, a little tiny Ziploc bag, and popped a pill per hour. And I also put sea salt in in my fuel bottle, and I think that made a nice difference. When I finished my bike ride and I peed before I took off on my run, my pee was relatively clear, and that's a good sign. It was like perfect. My pee was perfect, and so that was a really good sign that I was, adequately hydrated. I peed twice during my 3.5-hour bike ride, and I started off a little bit dehydrated, and as the bike ride went on, I actually got less dehydrated. My pee started turning more clear, and a pill per hour, and that's for just nice conditions, Oh, Thermotabs is like 300 pills or something. I don't know, whatever it is, for like $3. So it's just salt, that's really what you need. And by the way, I'm going to be in and out of this last little bit of recording as I think of things that went on. So I may stop, I may pause, and then come back on. What was the other thing? So when I took off running, of course, my legs are pretty blasted, but not bad. So I noticed that I actually preferred to do short steps and a high cadence. And what I should have had on my, what you should have on your watch whenever you take off running is pace. If you have a GPS watch, and that'll tell you if you're going too fast when you're starting off the bike. If you get off the bike and you start running a 6-minute mile, and that's not within your abilities, then you need to slow down. I need to set that on my watch so I know that I'm not trying too hard. It's more of like to keep you under control. And then you can use splits too. You can hit the lap button and it'll show you splits per mile. But you're kind of guessing like where the miles are and stuff. You're hoping that they're accurately marked. And anyway, there's 2 types of running. There's many types of running, but there's 2 types that are that I was thinking about while I was running. And they are the Gazelle versus the glider, I think. But anyway, there's an article about this on the interwebs, and it's Chrissy Wellington versus Rennie. And, these two have been back and forth trying to beat each other in Ironman. And they have 2 very distinct styles of running. And Rennie is like what you see in a running catalog of just her rear leg is straight, her front leg is up, and her thighs parallel to the ground. I mean, she looks like she's freaking taking off like Superman every step. And it's beautiful, right? It's extremely fast, powerful, right? But there's a lot of bouncing when you run like that. And that's fine for her, right? Because obviously she wins everything. Okay, so then Chrissy Wellington, who also wins everything, including whatever Rennie was in, has this other type of running cadence or running form where she doesn't lift her feet up off the ground so much. It's more like she's speed walking, right? And it doesn't look anywhere near as cool, right? But she's just as fast, maybe almost as fast as Rennie, but fast enough, faster than you and I could ever be. And it works for her. So she's not bouncing as much, and she's not picking up her feet as much. And it looks like less powerful, but more conservative, like as far as your up and down and your motion goes. And so I was running, and I was like, well, my legs kind of hurt a little bit from the bike riding and stuff. So I'm like little short strokes. So I was keeping them closer to the ground, my feet closer to the ground, and doing a higher cadence, but lower to the ground. So it was more like I was gliding, like it's a stretch to say like Chrissy Wellington, because she's doing a 6-minute mile, and I'm doing a 8.5. Average 8:47, yeah. But my run loop is actually hilly, sort of. It's got some 4% grades in it, kind of here and there. So I was thinking about it. It's probably more like it'd be a stretch, say an 8-minute mile, maybe like an 8:15 overall. And I'll download it and look at it, but I don't want to think about it too much. Anyway, what's really important is pay attention to how you feel and how your fueling is. I mean, you're limited to your abilities, to what you've trained to lately. So you don't want to get too crazy with like, I could do this. So anyway, But there is an upside to Chrissy Wellington's form in that the problem when you're running a marathon is, especially after a 112-mile bike ride, is you're going to run out of energy and you need to eat. The more you bounce, the more your stomach gets upset and you can't absorb your nutrition. So you can take it to the extreme. If you walk, of course you can, or if you ride a bike where you're not bouncing at all, you can eat a ton more. Everybody talks about how you can't eat on the run anywhere near as many calories as you can on the bike or walking. Like you walk through the aid stations and drink a bunch of water and let your food absorb, right? Because you're not bouncing anymore. Well, if you do Wellington's glider movement, you've probably reduced your bouncing 30%, let's just say. That's significant. That's a big amount. And let's say that allows you to absorb 100 more calories per hour, because you're not bouncing up and down. And let's say it's at the beginning of the run when you really need to take on fuel, So I was fine doing this at the beginning of my brick run and kind of practicing, especially because your legs are tight anyway and you can't run like a beast like Rennie. Anyway, so run more like Wellington and keep the bouncing to a minimum. And you'd be surprised how fast you were going. I mean, I was doing an 8:37 I said, or something. Anyway, 8:47. But anyway, I was doing a sub 9. With speed walking, essentially. And that's fine, man. I mean, that's like a decent time, So, yeah, there's that. Okay, as I think of more things, I'll come back. Hold on. Oh my God, I want to brush my teeth so freaking bad. All right, I'm in the ZenTri mobile studios, and I'm driving out in the middle of nowhere, or as my mom would have called it. Probably still does. East Jesus. You've never heard that. It's really funny. Drove all the way out to East Jesus. Anyway, to get my bottle cages that blew off, a bolt came undone, and the whole thing, when it came off the back of my bike, it fell onto the rear tire and then banged around. I thought my rear derailleur had exploded whenever I... Oh, here's a cyclist. Whenever it crashed and hit into the ground. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, you're bouncing way too much. You're bouncing. Don't bounce so much. Oh well, you gotta learn. Anyway, I saw another triathlete in aero bars, which was nice. I really do live in a kind of a small town, and then I ride out in the countryside, so there's not much going on out there. It's fantastic cycling. Every time I think about moving away from here, I'm like, man, the cycling is just so good. I don't want to give that up. But anyway, I was thinking about how after this ride, I really had a lot of energy. I've been posting all over Twitter and having a lot of fun, and I'm like, so it was 4 hours total, 3.5 hour bike ride and a half-hour run. And that's nice. That's a really good sign, to have that much energy. And then, let me speed up a little bit. I really am out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, I want to drive down this road and see where it goes. And see if it's rideable on a bike. I can add in a few extra miles on a ride if I go down this thing. And usually after a really long workout, a lot of us crave salt, So like when I do an Ironman, man, I can eat a really big pizza and dip it in garlic sauce, and eat potato chips, just things that are covered in salt. What's going on there is you're craving salt because you didn't get enough salt during your training day, during your workout, during your race, and now you're facing a really big limiter, Well, it's obvious that you should have had more salt if you're craving it so much. There's all this debate about how much salt to actually eat, how many milligrams per hour. Well, how much fuel to eat and all this stuff. Well, if you just, if you start from pretty much nothing, which a lot of us are doing, and then work out and do your longer workouts, and then also grow your workouts. Hey, this is a nice little road. I'm gonna have to measure it on the way back, see how long it is. And you, actually, it's not that long. I don't think it's long enough. But you grow your workouts by 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And that's what I've been doing over this late winter, early spring. Is peel out, woo! Traction control ruined it. Okay, then you can say, okay, after this workout, I felt like this, felt like that. I should up this or decrease that or whatever. And that should be a really good guide for you and how you feel about, what to change and what to improve on. You don't have to be all crazy, and like try to follow somebody's guidelines too much. Just try, improving, and there's a bunch. There's, I don't know, like 10 to 20 things out there that make a difference. We're talking like carbs, fat, salt, hydrate, water, sunscreen. I'm just trying to think of all the different things, cadence. There's like all these different things that you can work on. And for example, sorry, I'm chewing gum, and I'm a gum smacker, which is, I know, is not cool. One time I was in an arcade, and I was standing behind a guy watching him play a game. I was just waiting for him to finish so I could play. And I was a teenager. And he turned around and he looked at me and he goes, "Are you going to smack your gum that loud the entire time?" And looking back, thinking about it, he heard my gum smacking over an arcade. You can imagine how loud that was. Anyway, so as I've been growing my bike rides, 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours, now we're up to 3.5. I've been making little modifications here and there to things, and I realized usually when I relax after a bike ride and after a good workout on the bike, my crotch is a little numb, and now it's not anymore. And I've usually got saddle sores, a little bit. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm improving things. But man, this past year I've been really focusing on fixing little things. And it makes the training just so much more enjoyable to have those little things worked out. Okay, we're pulling up. There's a raven just randomly wandering around in a field over there. We've got wildflowers on both sides of the road, and we're going to pull up into this pipeline right-of-way gravel dirt road. I really wish they'd turn these pipeline and power line right-of-ways into running trails or mountain bike trails. That'd be pretty cool, huh? Let's get out and see if my bottle cages are still here. I was so mad at it, I was about to say, screw it, just leave it on the side of the road. Oh man, it's really nice outside. There they are. But then I've got 2 white bottle cages attached to it with the bolts and everything. I need to take a picture of this. Angela, Nathan, and I have been tweeting back and forth with XLab about improving this. Let's see. I need to turn it so it's actually a better photo. Yeah, this will do. This will do nicely. There you go. All right. That's all I've got for right now. But anyway, it is super nice being able to go for a long bike ride and to have eliminated all these little aches and pains and things like that. And where are we going? I've been doing this sport forever, guys, and am I backing out straight? Sort of. And there's this tendency for you to be like, oh, I just got to keep going, like, I'll work on that later. I'll fix that thing later. That actually ends up biting you in the butt. You should do the reverse. You should fix the little things that are annoying you and making the training painful first. And, or when you got time, as soon as you got time. And then train from there. Riding your bike should feel like just putting on an old pair of broken in jeans, like your favorite pair of jeans that fit really nice and are just relaxed. There should be no aches and pains, no numbness, no nothing. It should feel great for hours and hours on end, and then you'll have much better training. So, all right, I got to focus. I got to put gas in the car. I think I'm going to grab a burger. Get some fries with some salt on it. All right, out, Bing. Oh, and jalapenos. How do I stop this thing? Oh my God, I'm going to crash trying to stop this thing. Where'd you go? All right, we got a rarity here. I'm actually recording while running because I'm doing a really easy run. It's been really interesting. And I had a ton of energy all afternoon, which means my fueling and hydration was spot on today. And I looked at my numbers, and that 30-minute run, after I warmed up, I was running at 8:15. And that had a little bit of uphill in it, actually. It finished going up. That, I think, is a 10-hour Ironman pace. Wait, hold on. Okay. Sorry. I had to move my foot around. And then, so I went over and helped coach somebody to their house. Had dinner with Emily, Kai. And I'm like, man, I want to go do something, but my legs are sore. So I said, well, I'll just walk up and down the street, see what my legs feel like. And it actually felt good. They hurt, but it felt good to do something with them, Like if we had a pool, I would have gone and swam. And done some kickboard. I'm like, well, I still got some daylight. I'm wrapping up the run now. The sun just went down. Well, I'll go run. And I'll just do whatever my legs feel like. So when I first started out, man, I could barely run at all. And so I said, well, we're just going to scale of 1 to 10. I was doing a 2. And I've learned so much over the years. If that's what you feel like, then do it 2. Don't push it. Like I could have gone faster, but it would have been not useful, What I needed, what I realized after I started running, was I need time on my feet and to flush out the legs and to bang the legs up a little bit vertically. But I do not need any more muscle building. So just run easy and knock the legs around a little so they feel better. So it started off real slow. And gradually, over time, I worked my way up. I'm probably running an 8.5 right now. It's pretty nice. So that gives me, here comes a car. 5 hours for the day. And the whole time I'm running, I'm thinking about what's happening tomorrow, you know. I got a phone call with Tawnee. I got Cub Scouts with Kai tomorrow night. I'm going to teach them how to ride bikes. I'm debating about whether to pull out the tri-bike. In one way, it's totally overkill. But in another way, you know, things like that, seeing something super cool amps you up for the rest of your life. It gives you an idea, like, man, I could have a bike that looks like an X-Wing fighter. That would be really cool. You know, it motivates them to get out and ride. Pretend like you're on that cool bike. You know, you get some bike ninja skills and you can end up riding a bike like this. So I'm really pleased with this run. Really, really pleased. This is nice. And I'm doing the thing with what feels like natural, you know. And it works. It's really nice, man. We're almost at the house. Hold on. Oh, all right. That was really, really nice. I must have been running slow at the beginning. Because I averaged a 10:42 for over an hour running, 10:42 pace. And the last 25 minutes, I was really flying. So the first must have been like a 15-minute mile. But that goes to show you that, you know, you just warm up really, really, really easily. Don't outrun your body. Don't outrun your fuel. And things will be all right. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but there's kids playing down the street, playing kickball or something. But anyway, that's a show. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to keep getting bigger and bigger volume. Zeroing in on Ironman Texas. It's a lot of work. A lot of work. Very interesting. Let's go inside. Hello, Lucy. I'm home. Ha ha.